So this shepherd takes down a monster the size of a house. His weapon? A sling and one rock. Yeah, one stone and the thing drops. He's no knight and no noble. He herds sheep, and in this world, only noble blood is born able to use magic. So how does a sheep herder pull off magic he was never meant to have? He taught himself by treating magic like science, freezing water from the air, splitting it into fuel and flame, slinging rock through bone. No bloodline, no chanting, just physics bent into a weapon, plus a secret about his blood that could get him killed. Then the bodies start piling up. A monster that eats other wizards hunts him through the night desert. He burns it alive and earns a name, the Night Hunter. Pirates, merfolk, a black eagle that spells out words. Then a tomb built for giants cracks open one giant eye and picks him. But that's getting ahead. It starts with a kid and a stick playing pretend. A scrawny village kid grips a stick and declares himself a wizard. He points it at a bigger blonde girl who charges in as the monster. Up comes the stick, his big finishing move. He cracks it down on the monster's skull. Monsters lose to wizards, the girl yelps. They don't get whacked for real. Now she wants in too, an old man watching, amused. The kids spot him and light up, Grandpa Rabus. So the boy asks what it even takes to become one. Wizards are the apex of humanity, the elder says, born with power in their blood, which means neither kid qualifies, and a passing adult scolds him for saying so. He lets it slide, then circles back. Is that really true? Then comes the rumor. A monster has turned up. The old man goes grim and confirms it. A shadow leopard the size of a house, seen at the village gate last night. No need to panic though. The chief already left to hire a real wizard. A villager waves it off. The chief brings a wizard. The monster goes down. Her mother warns the blonde girl to keep clear of the forest for now. The elder picks up the toy stick. Without a wizard, a monster is near unkillable. A neighbor asks if word's already gone round to everyone. Of course, Rebus says, the stick still in his hand. Out past the village, on Hisaril Hill, there lies the shepherd, Turan. Gray hair, a blade of grass in his teeth, bored out of his mind. Sprawled among bleeding sheep, he decides this is unbearably dull. The same fields, the same drifting flock. Each lazy day on loop, a farmhouse below and nowhere to be. At this rate, he mutters, he'll forget how to talk. Then a voice lands flat behind him. Pathetic brat. An old man in a gray robe looms over him, scolding him for slacking. You're in my light, the shepherd shoots back. Move! The old man is Rebus, and he hasn't come to leave the boy in peace. He dredges up the day Turan's mother died, when he'd quietly claimed her sheep. Yeah, that one, the shepherd shrugs. Not generous enough to split an inheritance. They're hardly close enough for pleasantries, so spit it out and go. The brat insult bounces right off. He just stares back, unbothered. Then the elder drops it. A monster has turned up. A monster, he echoes. A leopard the size of a house. Rop spotted it and warned the village. Hand resting on a sheep, he doesn't flinch, even as the likeliest meal around. The chief's already gone to the city for a wizard, so watch yourself. Truth is, the elder came because he was worried, not that he'd admit it. Just say you feared for the sheep, the shepherd teases, and that sets him off. Done talking? Then get lost, old man. Besides, your breath could rot a nose clean off. Monsters. Beasts that wield strange power and magic. Humans get wizards, beasts get monsters. A real wizard coming to their backwater village over one monster. Then again, a wizard a rural chief can summon is probably nothing special. Still, the shepherd wants a look. Just how strong is a wizard, really? The idea almost amuses him. Then his eye snaps wide. That smell. He places it. Blood. Following it into the trees, he's sure the source is close. Then he looks up and the name slips out. Rebus. The elder, strung up and torn open, dead before his own warning landed. Hand to his chin, he reads the wounds. No ordinary animal did this. No question now, this was the monster. Then his head whips up. Something's here. A massive clawed paw presses down, a gold mark burning at the joint. The beast rears out of the dark, growling low. And there it stands, the house-sized monster against one small shepherd. Back in the village, the boy asks if even grown men can't beat it. His father laughs. Rush a monster and they won't even find your bones. Then what happens to us now? The kid presses. Don't worry. Hand on the boy's shoulder, his father grins. The chief's bringing a wizard. And a wizard won't lose, right? Wide-eyed, the kid needs to hear it. Of course not, the man smiles. Wizards are born with magic itself. One word from a wizard and the monster dies. Somewhere it roars. Out on the hill, the shepherd glances back. Then the monster erupts from below, lunging at the lone figure. Up close, it's all gold-lit eyes and bared fangs. Turan just stands across from it, calm. Not working, he mutters, half to himself. Then the beast rears in a burst of fire, towering over him. Up goes his hand, one word barked out, "Stop!" It doesn't stop. The thing charges anyway. Killing it failed, he admits, and stopping it looks just as hopeless. The shadow leopard lunges, all gold fire and rolling dark. Up close it bares its fangs, low and growling. He scrambles up the path as the beast prowls below, eyes burning. Calm now, he settles on a plan. His hand closes around a loose stone. He loads a sling and whirls it overhead, grinning. A shepherd does what a shepherd does. The monster barrels straight at him. Then the first word sinks into the stone. Harden. A snap of the cord and he lets it fly. His eye flares gold. The next word follows. Become faster. The stone screams across the field toward the beast. Driving forward, he kicks up a trail of dust. Hair whipping, dead set, he gives the last command. Pierce through. The empowered stone tears down the valley in a streak of white light. Then the air rips apart with the force of it. Blood and shredded shadow spray everywhere. The stone punches clean through the beast in a lance of light. Piece by piece, the shadow leopard comes apart. One lone figure stands calm before those gaping jaws. The shepherd grins, eye locked on his mark. Far below, the wizard stands tiny beside the gouge he just tore open. Then the magic loops back around and takes the head. First time he's tried that on a monster, he admits. Maybe he'll just dump the carcass in some valley. Bloodied and bored, he gripes that the villagers really put him to work. All that, he mutters, for those townsfolk. He is a wizard. 8 years back, he realized the power was his. 10 years old, logs drifting off the floor at a thought. The boy lit up. Look, the logs are flying. Mom, he called, and she turned to a room gone airborne. Fire, wind. He rattled off every trick he had. Then she screamed, the only time she ever turned on him. She snatched the log down and said his name low. Kneeling to his level, she asked him to sit and talk. She asked if he wanted years at her side. He did. Then came the vow. Never touch that power again. Never in front of other people, she pressed. Why, he asked. She brought up the noble and the knight, and he remembers all of it. Wizards come in two kinds, the telling goes. Nobles and knights, never the same. Nobles descend from the Freyans, divine people who came down to save the old humans. Knights trace back to nobles whose blood thinned through human mixing. He remembers it well, the voice says, a hand resting on a cane. That divide runs even among wizards, and it's why young Turan can't use his. His power came from his father, a knight. Beyond this town wait cruel nobles, the kind who keep knights as slaves. So keep it buried. No one can ever learn he's a wizard. Just promise her that, his mother pleads. He has kept the promise ever since, alone now in the empty house. A hand draws the curtain shut. The vow holds. No wish to reveal himself as a wizard. None to leave the mountain either. Then his eye snaps open at a pounding. A fist hammers the door. Turan, come out. The shepherd looks back, smirking. A knot of villagers has cornered him on the hill, so he repeats it back. They're pinning rebus on him. Yes, they spit, and the gall of the man. One hulking villager swears he hurt the elder and fed him to the monster. He just stares, saying nothing. Then he reads them. He sees exactly why they'd frame him. The oldest man died alone while the young one stayed too scared to fight. Pinning it on him, he notes, is the easy way out. Right then, the big man's fist comes up, his name a roar. The punch sweeps in. He watches it come, unhurried. Magic, he thinks, eyeing the blow. One strike and the man's head snaps back, blood flying. Wish for something hard enough and mana makes it real. Then a cold grin and one quiet word, fall over. He doesn't need to start a fire, just a touch of power, no more. Subtle enough that no one would notice, enough to leave them breathing. Then he wades in and overwhelms them. His staff cracks through the pack. Their weapons spin away in pieces. And this has been the routine for 8 years. Standing over them all, he's kept one thing buried. He's a wizard. A voice chides him. That strength should have gone to Rebus's funeral. He eyes the village women. Here to fight as well? They came just to see him. He says nothing. Later, back inside his farmhouse, more chaos in town, he figures, and the traitors will gouge him for it. Reaching for his coat, he figures a few beatings buy a fairer deal. He'd already whooped some off, sure they wouldn't be back soon. Then a fist hammers the door. They must be insane. Knuckles keep pounding the wood. Wrenching it open, Turan snaps a "Who is it?" A stranger fills the doorway, a sword at his hip. Bearded and sweating, the man asks a favor of a passing traveler. A traveler? The shepherd echoes, going blank. He waves off his own temper. Uninvited guests moments ago. Manners his mother drilled in, dusted off for once. Still, a wandering swordsman here in this sleepy town? If you want an inn, he starts. Right then the man's stomach growls and he just sighs. Fine, come in, the shepherd relents. Bread, sausage, soup, a humble spread on the table. Not much, Turan apologizes. His guest calls it a feast. Surprised, the stranger asks if he's never met an outsider. He hasn't. Raised on this hill, he's herded sheep his whole life. He drinks deep from a wooden cup. Interesting, the man calls him, and gets a puzzled "huh." For a shepherd, the stranger notes, his manners are sharp. He learned them from his mother, lost to illness years ago. She raised a proud son, the guest says. Surely she rests among the gods. On his feet, he shrugs off the thanks. He lives as she taught. So what brings the man all this way, Turan asks. A favor. A favor? They wanted someone to handle a monster puma. Then he says it plainly. He is a wizard. The shepherd places him. The wizard the elder once spoke of. A bearded stranger grins. Go ahead, ask. He senses a monster close, but sees none here. Stranger still, the shepherd knows of the dead elder and the beast, yet sits calm. If it hunted a person, it'd be you. Not scared? Awfully brave for a boy who never left town. Then flat, who are you really? Back then, the boy once asked why nobody could know he's a wizard. Because of bad nobles, she said. He echoed it back. Nobles keep knights like a shepherd keeps dogs. They love you like family, then sell or sacrifice you when it suits them. She didn't want that life for Turan. He only wanted to stay with his mom. So remember it. No one can ever know. Years on, that warning still sits heavy on him. And the last warning? Someday, he might have to kill. The wizard's blade slips free. Why won't you answer? The wizard presses. Then he cracks a grin. That look's killing my joke. A joke? The shepherd repeats, unconvinced. He shrugs it off. No sense of humor. And the swordsman waves it back. First wizard's joke he's ever heard, the man figures. Then a hand comes out. They never traded names. Nice to meet you, the traveler offers. Turan, a shepherd, he answers, taking it. 18 this year, he adds. The old man counts 75, and gets told he doesn't look it. Wizards age slow, he explains. So what made him a wanderer? 60 years served House Arabian, the wizard says, before he left to Rome. Romantic, the shepherd remarks, and he just grins. Outside the window, dusk, and just like that, it's late. He blinks, the whole night slipped by, and rises to go. A silver coin taps the table. Arabian, the purest minted, more than enough for the meal. Gladly, the shepherd says, and wishes the hunt smooth. Don't act like strangers, the man grins. He'll drop into freeload again. Past the hill, a town spreads below. Gather up, he calls, grinning wide. The flock drifts in across the grass. First wizard he's ever met, and the easiest talk in ages. That easy warmth in the man's voice stuck with him. Days later, the man returns, a fresh kill on his shoulder. A good sort, Turan decides. He'd always pegged knights as cold hunting dogs for arrogant nobles. So how did the hunt go? He asked the sky. Nothing left on Hisarl Hill, the man calls back, small on the misty path. Something's off, the wizard mutters in the woods. He finds signs of a fight, but no trace of a beast. Was the thing already hunted down, he wonders? Then who killed it? Did the chief hire someone else? Either way, a relief. Someone took it down, and the village is safe. Then his eyes snap wide, his head whips around. A massive severed paw lies in the grass, its joint still glowing. Nearby sprawls the rest, torn open, fanged maw gaping. The shredded corpse drags itself upright. A beast's corpse puppet. Who in the world would do this? The swordsman breathes. The thing rears and lunges, claws out. One flash of light and it bursts apart. Leave a dead beast's mana, he notes, and it turns into this. Every hunter knows that. A lance of gold light, frozen where it punched through the beast. Crouched over the carcass, he reads the wound. A wizard killed this. No rookie, he reasons, could ever drop a beast like this. Then the darker thought. Or was it left here on purpose? Whatever the answer, it has to die. Gold mana floods his blade. The blade lashes out. Then jaws erupt through the blast, snapping at him. His strike fizzles. The dead thing's mana dwarfs his own. Gone. The beast melts into the mist. It fights magic with magic, he realizes, wheeling around. Black mana bubbles up around his boots. Then the corpse puppet rears, vast and gold-eyed, over one small swordsman. Gold blazing, he lunges to meet the jaws. No mere knight can handle this beast, he knows. It'd take a lower noble. Still, he tears after it through the trees. A corpse puppet this strong out in the sticks, life never warns you. Squaring off, the wizard wonders if this is as far as he goes. Not going quietly, he vows to drag it down with him. So he pours every drop of mana into one fist. Down come the claws. Up comes his fist, wreathed in fire. Both meet in the air. A flash, and the blow strikes home. Mana rips across the monster. He comes through it, barely. Even so, the thing only rears back, still on its feet. Then a voice at his back. "You all right?" And he spins around. "A shepherd can rattle you too," he admits, half a grin, and wanders off. Turan trails after him through the trees. "So you're a wizard?" comes the question. "Yes, sir," he owns it. Then, in a clearing, "Why say nothing?" He stays quiet. Different question. The man tries. "Why help me when walking away was easy?" A slow grin, and he starts. "That's because." Indoors, the beast's carcass between them, he presses. "Why go so far? Easier coin waits for such skill." "But they're pitiable," the shepherd answers. "What else can a man do?" He shrugs. "Pitiable how?" "Out on the fringe," he says, "they tremble unprotected." "None of it your fault, sir. Wizards inherit the power of the gods." "Then take pride shielding commoners," he smiles. "Not every wizard agrees. Everyone has their own mind," the shepherd says, "their own way of life." A streak of white light and the beast comes apart. Out in the trees now, the wizard warns him. "That thing is beyond them both. You need noble blood to face it. Go warn the chief. Clear the people out." A second monster rises, green core burning in the dark. He vows to hold the line. Flame in his palm, he admits he can't last long against it. "It's fine," Turan says. The wizard just blinks. "What?" A stone lifts on a halo of blue. "If that last shot landed, they're fine." "That wasn't your full strength," the man breathes. A hillboy, hunting a corpse puppet. The veteran knight Kaorn stares, floored. Some country boy from a backwater village. No mere reckless knight on the run from nobles either. Maybe the start of a world-shaking wizard. He grins, curious about his own limits. Turan squares off against the green-cored corpse puppet. He's curious about his own limits too, he admits. "No," Kaorn cuts in. "Talent or not, that thing is a brutal opponent. We fight it together," the knight urges. A startled "What?" Already the shepherd moves, blue mana spilling off his hand. "Right now I'd only slow him down," Kaorn realizes. "He couldn't even track that last strike," the veteran admits. "His job now? Let the boy's talent bloom." "Damn it," Turan grits out. "The hit lands and does nothing." "Steel won't kill a wraith," Kaorn shouts. "Then how do I kill it?" he fires back, blasting upward. With fire, and his hand snaps open, or lightning, and his eye locks on. Down comes the fist, wrapped in fire. Slouched against a tree, he says it isn't working. "That's not the point," the knight snaps. "To bend power onto a living thing," Kaorn lectures, "you set the causality first." His eyes go wide mid-sentence. A memory hits. The boy killed that first beast and left it to rise again, which means, the knight reasons, he has never once absorbed a beast's mana. "Make the fire, then throw it," Kaorn had coached, and the shepherd just does it. He breaks into a sprint, eye flaring gold. A flame coils to life in his open palm. Lighting one is easy for a wizard, the knight allows. Steering it takes years. Up the orb goes overhead and the veteran's jaw drops. Already, his fist comes down. Fire blooms across the husk, its green core flaring through. The whole thing goes up in a pillar of flame. "Keep pouring mana in," the knight shouts, "or the fire dies. Burn every trace away." Embers drift past one calm gray eye. "We won," the veteran knight breathes. "That wraith was monstrous. You'd need noble blood just to face it. And yet the kid put it down. Some shepherd off a mountain, no less. Absorb its mana first," he warns, "or another wraith wakes." Turan asks how. "Picture something draining into you," comes the answer. Eyes shut, he reaches for the carcass. Green mana lifts off the dead thing in a haze. It spirals down into his open palm. Then it floods him, veins lit green to the bone. His eye burns the same green. "You'll feel a kind of rush," the knight adds, still disbelieving. "First time absorbing mana?" "Yes," Turan owns it. "Mana creeps up slowly with age. Killing and draining is the shortcut. First try and already he handles it. The talent's a whole other league." Hand raised, the knight is sure this young man is someone. Then a name, careful and formal. "Turan." "Yes?" He bows, hand to chest. "Forgive my rudeness, which house do you serve?" "Kaorn," the shepherd starts, wary. The man just answers yes. Wipe your blood off first, he adds. The knight blinks at his torn arm. Indoors now, arm slung, patched up, and faintly sheepish. He apologizes yet again, mortified to make someone so esteemed do this. No one grand, the shepherd insists. Just a herder who never knew his father. One flat glare and the old knight folds. Fine, stop looking at me like that. Outside, sheep drift past the farmhouse. Why a shepherd's life? His mother asked it of him right until she died. Below the mountain wait nobles. Let it slip and they use you, then discard you. She was wise, the knight murmurs. Huh? He'd half expected to hear it called smothering, caught off guard. Great power breeds conflict, he warns. 20-odd years back, the great houses warred. Long ago, House Arabian, the one he served, warred with the great House Zahar. Of 3,000 Arabian knights, more than 900 fell, nearly a third. Sadly, the wizard says, everyone close to him stood in that third. His friend Denver, who'd wanted a laundry shop, and his teacher Hartman, ever pushing him on, and his wife and son, all massacred by Zahar. He alone left. Turan's mother was partly right. A knight's life ends easier and emptier than a commoner's. One thing she got wrong, though, was the boy's aptitude. Embarrassing to admit, but he's a capable knight, yet the shepherd downed a wraith beyond him. That potential isn't merely a knight's, at minimum, noble level. And among nobles, upper tier at that. Was the knight father story a lie, he asks? Sometimes a noble child is born among knights. In that sense, better to leave this hill and step out into the world. Because humans need more nobles and knights, they still don't fully rule this world. Long ago, the gods cast other races out, and they still wait their chance to rise. Yet in the face of all that, the nobles only keep waging war on each other. This age, the knight says, needs strong, kind nobles like him. More than that, a shepherd's life can't satisfy him. The shepherd just looks back, steady and a little smug. What's down the mountain for me? Depends what you want. Wealth, power, family, a friend. None come easy up here. Picture it. Roam the land, put down monsters like he does. Or explore the unknown. Or get adopted into a house and rise. Listening to all that, the shepherd admits he might have a point. Any of it, he figures, beats herding sheep out here. For once, Turan's honestly curious about the world beyond the hill. Maybe he's overselling it, he admits, but he'll back any path. So what's your bloodline ability? Bloodline what? The shepherd echoes. Right, keep slipping his mind the boy barely knows magic. A bloodline ability, he explains. The Freyan trait dividing noble from knight. Was there ever a spell that came too easy, the knight asks? Not that he's strong, the shepherd guesses. Mana alone hardens a wizard's body. Good nose, good arm for throwing stones, he says. Skill with thrown weapons runs in House Arabian, Kaorn notes. Common enough, though. Tell me more, comes the prod. He obliges. I see, the shepherd murmurs, then falters. Sir? Why the sudden mood, he wonders aloud. Then the knight. I think I know which house your gift answers to. Which one, he presses. A great house, comes the answer. Known as pursuers, hunters. House Zahar, the one that waged a war against House Arabian. And the shepherd just stares, the name settling cold. So he shares a bloodline with the old knight's enemies. What does he even say? Apologize for strangers he's never met? Then, gently, the old knight says his name. The boy answers, wary. Don't look so worried, Kaorn tells him, a hand on his shoulder. You never fought in that war yourself, the veteran says. Wash blood with blood, he warns, and the killing never ends. But haven't you any regrets? The shepherd asks. About what? About sending me down the hill, he finishes. Chase power off this mountain, Kaorn says, and Zahar claims you in the end. Still, I trust who you are. A startled sorry. You saved me, the knight goes on, even bearing a secret you'd hidden for life. Rise high in that house, he muses, and maybe the next war never comes. Either way, Kaorn shrugs. No need to decide any of it today. The veteran knight says his mind is settled now. Turan wants a try at the world below the hill. Good thinking, the knight nods, but not just yet. Once your wound heals, he says, then he'll go. Magic needs mana, the knight begins. They call it the key to omnipotence. Not truly omnipotent, though. The magic still needs matching mana. So what counts as matching, the shepherd asks. 3 things set a spell's difficulty. Bloodline, affinity, causality. Bloodline is what you're born with, the noble's edge. Healing his wounds, for one, sits beyond the boy's gift. But the southern Ravista line heals untrained, pure bloodline. And affinity, he presses, call it familiarity. Easier with what you know, like his fireball thrown like a stone. Kaorn confirms it. Plain flames couldn't have reached that speed or power. The last piece matters most, causality, which even he can't fully explain. Could raw mana kill a man? Just a flicker of light, no more. That fizzle, he says, is what a missing cause looks like. When the wish is too hard and nothing drives it, the spell sputters. Turan figures he's starting to follow. To kill, he'd shape a real cause, make fire, then throw it. Exactly, the knight beams. The boy could have been a scholar. Why do beasts resist when plain animals obey? They're mana. Magic isn't simple, the shepherd admits. Does the Zahar line have its own gift? gift? Stealth and tracking. Try it, Kaorn says. A flat okay. Eyes shut, he wishes himself unseen. No sound, no scent. The knight squints, searching the room. Did it work, he asks? Yet Turan stands right there in plain sight. Then Kaorn's verdict. You succeeded, I can't see you. His jaw tightens. He truly can't see the boy. The kitchen sits empty. Out of thin air, the shepherd fades back in. That trick once terrified the Arabian knights most, he recalls. Unfairly strong, the knight grants, yet not invincible. Lessons, he offers. Teaching an enemy house's mage, the shepherd asks. You saved my life, even patched me up. And didn't I say? Hand to his chest. I trust your character. A villager balks, selling the flock and leaving just like that? Geared to travel, he stands in the square. Who'll shepherd now, the village howls. Eyes shut, a sly grin. Figure that out yourselves. Buy the sheep fair, he warns, or he frees them all and goes. The chief's back, and a bandaged villager stammers his title. This brat keeps his word, the chief grants. No use provoking him. So he relents, pressing a coin pouch into the shepherd's palm. Leave or stay, do as you like, and the two set off together. Now those villagers still owe you, Kaorn muses. Want me to collect? Turan waves it off. The knight's the one who caught the beast. All right, comes the reply. Then now, the shepherd starts. Here, he says, the two of them part ways. Sorry for turning down the offer to travel, he's better alone. One look back, and he thanks the old knight for everything. Eyes closed, the old knight smiles. Turan, take care. Until they meet again with smiling faces, the shepherd answers. And so the boy watched that retreating figure a long while. Only later did he grasp why the formal address stung. A mother's love had never once been short. Still, deep down he had always wanted a father figure. Far off, a cracked wasteland groans under a hazy sky. One lone traveler crosses the broken stone alone. He lifts a hand against the glare. A knot of cloaked figures stands out on the sand. Merchants, maybe. Good, he decides, and a boot presses forward. Time to ask the way, the shepherd thinks, closing in. Who blocks our path, the one-eyed man demands. Only a lone traveler asking the way. Follow the road back, the man says, and you'll reach a city called Murray. Out among the hooded strangers, Turan thanks them for the directions. One of them steps in. Wait, you'd walk off after getting what you wanted? The shepherd just blinks. What? A faint smile then. Give back for what you take, the stranger says. Steel slides free all around him. First, drop that bulging pack. Bandits, he says it flat. So what if we are? Out here, the leader grins. No one blinks if a body turns up. A blade kisses his throat. Strip down while we're kind. Gutting you is messy work. The kind of bandits who actually kill, then. A quiet table comes back to him, the old knight sitting across. Over a foaming mug, fire bloomed in the veteran's bare hands. So he smiles under the crossed blades. Looks like you'll do for practice. Under the crossed blades, he smiles. Looks like they'll do for practice. The bandits scoff, then one squints, thrown by his calm. This lunatic, they laugh, is talking like some kind of wizard. His hand snaps down, trailing a streak of green. One word, wind, and a cyclone flings them off screaming. Shaping it by hand, he notes, costs far less mana than conjuring it whole. He never knew he could raise a gust that strong on so little. Palm up, water lifts from his flask and floats into the air. The droplets harden into a jagged shard of ice. More shards bloom around the shepherd, one poised at his fingertips. A bandit's eyes blow wide. The ice tears into him in a spray of blood, while the wizard stands calm downrange. Honestly, he mutters, throwing plain stones still feels faster. We didn't know, the bandits beg, swords dropped. Forgive us just this once. The bandits now beg. They'll give anything, just spare them. A gasp, boots scrambling back across the sand. He stands at the center, the bandits flung wide. The one-eyed leader gapes. Impossible. They're all dead. The boy just stands there, calm. One question, the shepherd says. A strangled yes, anything. Why jump a lone traveler blind? He could be a wizard, like now. Because you bowed your head, the man says. A flat what? Even rude, you bowed back. So we pegged you ordinary. Thanks, the shepherd says flat. That taught him something useful. Then will the wizard really spare him, the leader pleads? A bead of water floats over him, glowing blue. From now you'll meet many people, Kaorn had said. One thing to tell you, never spare scum like bandits, who'd gut a stranger for coin. A memory. The knight's blade on the table, a hard lesson landing. Spare one life out of pity, the warning went, and 10 good people may suffer. Enough stalling, he decides with a grin. He reads the cart tracks the bandits dragged across the sand. One thought stays lodged in him as he walks on alone. Looking back, he admits it plainly. He killed men today. Guilt sits heavy, yet the knight's warning won't let him free them. Killers this cold would only hunt fresh prey again. Slowly his churning heart settles, the old knight's words taking hold. Then green country opens wide, a whole new world. A low wow escapes him. So that's the place, the small city of Murray. Stepping in, he's never seen a crowd this thick. Even the buildings here look nothing like back home. Now it finally feels like a real city. Turan crosses a crowded market to a fruit stall, and its vendor brightens at a customer. A raised hand, and the shepherd says he's not buying. Once Kaorn told him every town, big or small, keeps an inn. But the moment he asks for one, the man snaps to buy fruit or get lost. So now there's apparently a rule: pay before you ask directions. He points at the apples instead, asking the price. "Two dupit," the vendor says, pegging him at once for an outsider. A coin in the man's palm finally buys the way to the inn. The sign out front reads "Pub and Inn," the biggest around. Behind the counter, a blonde girl beams a welcome. Lena, the inn staff. She calls him a handsome guest. He just asks the price of a night. The innkeeper names her price and he takes the room. A coin pouch changes hands. But first, a question. Any monster nearby with a bounty on it? He needs monsters to kill and drain. The work pays, Kaorn said. She just hugs the coin, grinning. Why won't she answer? Nothing in this world comes free, she informs him. City Hall? He repeats. What's that? The shepherd asks over his mug. You don't know city halls. A real country boy, she laughs. They handle public affairs, run by the city lord's officials. Closed now that it's dark. Come back tomorrow for a bounty. So, are you a monster hunter too? What's that? Hunt monsters and a commoner turns wizard. That's your aim, isn't it? Only a fool believes that kind of superstition, a hand on his chest. Superstition? The blonde hunter Midden swears it. Kill monsters, become a wizard. Saw it himself. Inside the tavern they light up. So he's alive after all. Not dying till he's a wizard, he laughs, and his hand bumps the boy's head. More to the point, the shepherd says, tell me about that wizard thing. Hunt monsters and you grow stronger. An ordinary man can rise the same way. The 4 of them hunt monsters to climb, his grinning crew at his back. So is one of you already a wizard? Only the lords, and 3 under him. Then your gear's far too shabby for it. Got a weapon on you? Out comes a worn leather sling. Used it plenty by the look. Good for firing something egg-sized, fast. Rabbit or fox monsters, easy. We could use one more shooter, the hunter says. Care to join us? No thanks, he answers, stretched out alone in the inn. No reason to. What a chaotic day, he mutters to himself. He still can't quite believe he left the village. Blue mana coils round his open hand. What now? Then, somewhere close, a knock. Who's there, he calls. No answer. He thinks back on a warning. Don't drop your guard, even at an inn. A city is no safer just for being a city, the scarred bandit had told him. Understood, the shepherd had answered, half a grin. So mana floods his hand as he reaches for the latch. Eyes sharp, he cracks the door an inch. On the threshold, a girl smiling up at him. Lena? She thought the room might be cold, so she came to warm it. What? A tug at her collar, that coy smile, and what does she even mean? She means exactly what it sounds like. For a little coin, she'll do whatever he wants. Don't lie, she purrs. Your face gives you away. He just stares back, dead flat. Her whole act crumbles on the spot. An old warning surfaces then. Don't you dare. Watch out for inn girls, the voice cautioned. Most carry disease. Their own kind shrugs it off, but a careless night spreads it. So cities aren't easy to live in either, he figures. First the fruit seller, now her. Everyone wants paying. Even a scrap of talk costs money. The place runs cold. Then an idea tugs his mouth. Boss, he says, one question. Up the stairs, the hunters wonder why he tried recruiting that nobody. Perfect bait, they decide, and downstairs the shepherd only grins. The boy reminds him of his younger self, the hunter admits. Medan figured the kid might last longer staying near him. His crew calls him too soft. A crooked grin, and well. Sprawled in his room, the shepherd decides the city isn't so cold-hearted after all. Next morning, the grand hall with its bounty boards out front. Behind the desk, a mustached clerk greets him. How can he help? Are you an official? The shepherd asks. Then what do I look like? He came to hunt monsters, he says. Monsters? The world won't be kind to you, Kaorn had warned once. Why? Want kind treatment, the knight had said. The method's simple. Just reveal you're a wizard and ordinary people bow their heads. The clerk slides a bounty sheet across the desk. You can't keep it, just look and hand it back. The shepherd only stares. Is that a crow monster, he asks? Does it look like a cat to you? A mustached clerk explains it plainly. Kill a monster, haul its corpse to the city. Leave one abandoned, and the city's penalty is death. He already knows, he's seen what a wraith becomes, and won't repeat his first mistake. But don't knights hunt monsters, he asks? Like they've got time, the clerk scoffs. Keeping order inside the walls is a knight's job. He slides a bounty over. That's for thugs like you, the official says across the hall. Gone already, the clerk mutters. Another corpse left to rot outside the walls. Out in the wild, a pale eye opens in the dark. A raven monster spreads its wings, a red glow burning at its breast. Back at the hall, the staff freeze and stare. This can't be. You brought it back this fast, one gasps, the body sprawled on the floor. Did you kill it alone, they ask? Indeed, the shepherd says. How does he collect the bounty? Of course they'll pay, the clerk stammers. A coin pouch drops into his palm. Get some rest. Thanks. At City Hall, officials gape at the blade crow he hauled in whole, wings intact. One of them stares, thrown that the kill came back this clean. You're still here, a mustached clerk asks, half startled. Turan only wonders aloud what other monsters are worth hunting. A flat what answers. Don't tell me you can hunt more, the man breathes. Back at the inn, the priciest spread on the whole menu lands in front of him. 30 monsters in 3 days, the inn girl marvels. She never dreamed it. You must have come out rich, she presses, leaning in. Money isn't his only aim, he says between bites. What he's really after is their mana, and it has plainly made him stronger. Several fold up since he met Kaorn by his own reckoning. Still, weak prey like this can only carry him so far. Actually, he starts, and she gives a puzzled what. Then 2 faces walk in to find he's cleared the entire table alone. Skinny the hunter laughs, but the runt can really put it away. It was good, he admits, rising, and Lena promises better next time. A hand reaches in and musses his hair. Eating something tasty alone, Midden grins, the crew at his back. Word is you've been raking in coin lately, so how about some charity for your partners? One boot sends the hunter sprawling back. Didn't you want charity? The shepherd says, palms pressed sweetly together. Cocky brat. A fist swings at his head. He drops the man flat with a single punch. Now the whole crew piles in, another already down. An open palm snaps shut on the next blow. He clamps the man's head, that eye blown wide and pinned. Then he stands over the last one, decked across the floorboards. Her grin splits wide and out it comes. Don't! Fight in the inn! She shrieks. A big blonde hunter bows deep and sincerely apologizes. Both of them got a proper scolding, he swears. Never again. Money's been tight lately. Jealousy got the better of his crew. You two, apologize already, he barks, and a mumbled sorry follows. Are things really that hard? Just stretch thin, says Midden. In 3 days, they likely can't even make the room fee. Turan holds out a small coin pouch. Here. Why? The hunter breathes. Repayment for the worry he showed before. He gapes. How could the shepherd know? Nothing comes free. Just give me some information. And the hunter lights up, fists raised. Above it all sprawls Murray, all rooftops and towers. Out at the tree line, he figures this may be his last hunt here. Midden's tips on the next city were solid, so it's time to move on. Better intel than he'd hoped, and the hunter's a genuinely good man. Not as seasoned as Kaorn, sure, but purer for it, kinder. Then his eye snaps wide. That smell again. He knows it and dreads it. He breaks into a run, praying his hunch is wrong. Deep claw gouges rake the bark under his palm. The shepherd stands alone among the trees, taking it in. Then he finds a body, slumped in spreading blood. He reads the gear, one of the hunting party. Closer, and the words die in his throat. His eye is glassy, blood-flecked, barely holding on. Beside the slack hand, his bounty coins lie scattered. It's Medon himself, and the shepherd breathes, what in the world happened here? Crouched over his ruined friend, he breathes a single question. What happened here? Medon stirs, choking out a word he can barely catch. A rabbit, the hunter rasps, and the shepherd just echoes it, lost. Somewhere near, bloodied jaws keep chewing. Then a monster, Medon gets out, and there it hunches over the bodies. It raises its head, white fur, red eyes, a beast shaped like a rabbit. The shepherd turns to face it, cold. Then it launches itself, a blur of fur and red. Too fast, he realizes. That pass nearly took his head off. His arm whips around in answer. Everything goes into a single throw. Blue light tears off his hand toward the leaping beast. It erupts against the thing in a flare of ice and light. His charged stone clips the white beast and it twists clear. The thing knows how to slip a thrown weapon, he notes. Then it bears dark claws and a snarl, far bigger up close. Towering over the lone shepherd, the monster blots out the sky. One red eye fixes on him, slit-pupiled. Right then it's gone, only torn wind where it stood. A white blur tears across the clearing. It lunges up. The wizard springs over the snapping jaws. Its bloodied maw splits in a shriek. From above, he drops at the crouched, wounded beast. But it blurs off into the trees again. A strike bursts across it, gold light flaring. The hit slams the creature sideways, reeling. Then it whips back around, red eyes blazing, and charges. Smoke drifts over the tree line, and a cry rises from below. Something small and white shrieks among the broken roots. Blood drips steady from its ragged paw. The beast hunches over a kill, red eyes glowing. Then the shepherd stands above its carcass, the slaughter all around him. He reaches out an open hand toward the body. Green mana coils up his arm and pools in his palm. This is far more than the leopard ever held. He can hardly believe how much pours into him. Slumped against a tree, the wounded hunter breathes it out. "You're a wizard." "Yeah," comes the flat reply. "So why hide it? Any family to send your things to?" he asks. "None," Midden murmurs. A bloodied grin breaks through and out it comes. "Boss. There's a great city called Orem," the hunter once told him, "with a library." Days back, the hunter had mentioned a library, thousands of books. The shepherd perked up at that, then played it off flat. "Not just anyone gets through the doors," Midden warned. "Only wizards are let inside," he said. The shepherd went quiet. Right then, he made up his mind. He'd go to that great city the hunter named, Orem. A grin crossed his face at the memory. Be happy there, he thought, and walked on. The faces he'd met in Murray drifted up one by one. Almost embarrassing, he admits, that little Murray ever impressed him. Then the great city itself rose into view. He hadn't expected such a crowd lined up at the gates. Screening for wanted criminals, maybe, he wonders? A place this grand runs a tighter system, he figures. Then a sharp halt stops him cold, and he echoes it back. A jittery, hooded gatekeeper jabs a finger. No entry. "Never seen clothes this filthy," the man sneers. "Go dust yourself off." Above the rooftops looms a vine-choked white tower. So this is the library Midden pointed him toward. Overwhelming, he thinks. Only magic could raise it. Two cloaked guards flank an ornate gilded door. He just wants in. This place admits wizards only. "I'm a wizard," he says flatly, and a guard balks. "Impersonate a wizard and you die," the man snaps. "Lunatic." A gloved palm waves him off. "No way you're one of us." Then mana blooms red across his bare hand. Wizards know their own, and can weigh each other's strength. His eye flares crimson, the power rolling off him. A jolt of pain locks the scarred knight up. Standing over him, Turan asks if he's alright. A shaky, "I'm fine." No ordinary wizard, the knight realizes. Noble class at least. He gives a name, Kenya, of House Valtus, and asks which house the stranger serves. Must he even say it to be let in? The shepherd smirks. Library access takes leave from the master of Valtus, Kenya explains. Meaning? The knight offers to reach out himself. Alright then. A simple errand, he'd figured. Now he sits baffled in a gilded, petal-strewn bath. "Stop," he tells the fussing maids. A quick, "Yes, sir." Can he not wash alone? Fail an honored guest, they fret, and they're punished. "Do as you please then," and they beam their thanks. One maid clasps her hands, eyes shining. Amazing. Then she claps a hand to her mouth, caught gushing aloud. A silver-haired stranger ties back his hair in a golden hall, smirking. Three maids tremble and stammer an apology. They lost themselves to his beauty. He waves it off graciously. There's nothing to forgive. One pale gray eye, a mole beneath it. Wow, what's this? Then a pink-haired woman crosses the hall toward him. "So you're the guest who turned up looking like a beggar," she says. Washed and dressed, the lady grins. He came out looking like a prince. The stranger gives his name, Turan, and she answers, Azella. She asks which house he's from. For personal reasons, that's hard to say. Hand to her chin, the noblewoman hums. "Is that so? What a shame." Hiding who he is, she muses. Then maybe she'll play a little prank. Gold light erupts between them, splitting the hall. Eyes blazing, her grin sharp, she gives the command, "Show me." The light catches him wide-eyed. "Show me your mana." Light floods his eye, a blue star burning in the gray. Then both wizards square off, his power rolling out against hers. Blue mana whips around the shepherd as gold flares back. Up the gilded columns the light tears, swallowing the hall. The storm settles, and he stands calm again, eyes shut. Across from him, the noblewoman laughs, delighted by what she saw. "Hey, you there," she calls, sizing him up. "So how about it?" she asks lightly. "Wanna marry me?" That stops the shepherd dead, blank-faced in the middle of the floor. He just stares, not a single word coming. Azella waves it off, grinning that she only meant it as a joke. Still, she presses. He could at least think it over once. The lady strolls off down the hall, 3 maids waiting in a row. Left standing there, he watches her go without a word. His hand lifts into the light, mana stirring in his palm. Someone on his level, he'd hoped. Or is this just average here? Then he stands on a glowing sigil, a noble across the desk. "Welcome, young noble, and you already know my name, Lug Valtus, Lord of Aurum." He gives his name, the Lord mulls it, so, the library. "Plenty come chasing rumors," he warns. "No secret magic, no mana boost hides in there." Fine by him, he never wanted that, and entry's his anyway. Rest now, continue tomorrow, and Turan won't forget the head of house's kindness. Outside, Ivy swallows the pale tower stone. His pass clears, the attendants bow him in. "Welcome to the Sky Library." One look inside, and his eyes blow wide. Stairs spiral up toward a distant skylight, shelves climbing every wall. At its foot, the shepherd just takes it in. So this is the library he crossed a kingdom to reach. Someone greets him brightly. "First time meeting you, Lord Turan." She throws up a hand. She's the librarian here. On the head of house's order, she'll lay out the rules. A little kid, he thinks, runs this whole library? She crowds in to watch him read. "Back off a little," he says. "It's unnerving." Across the vast hall, he asks if she's read these books too. Romance, history, she offers, waving at the towering shelves. "Erotica," she adds, and he just stares, flat. "Some basic common knowledge about this world," he says. A stack of heavy tomes thuds down. "Most of these run centuries old," she warns, "but this section might help." Book in hand, the shepherd finally settles in to read. "So this is what they call a book," he marvels. Then a stunned voice catches in someone's throat. He pores over an old tome, stunned. This is incredible. Day after day, the same routine, reading in the library. From his reading, the world's geography and its peoples took shape. He took in the customs of mages, their crafts and trades. Even the beasts and relics of the old empire grew familiar. As that knowledge stacked up, a world once blank as a void came into focus. "So you've been putting the library to good use," a voice notes. "Yes, sir," he answers, and the Lord reminds him that access was a kindness. And now he'd like to call that kindness in. "Please, go ahead." Hunt it down? 4 knights went to subdue the thing and were devoured. A noble must step in, but the house spares only 2. A third makes it safer. "Understood," the shepherd says. "Protecting people is a mage's duty." Still, something nags. Don't mages usually keep clear of this sort of thing? That blocked northern road is a key Aurum trade route. Shut 10 days, needed open fast. 10 days back, before he ever set foot in Aurum. Out on the cracked flagstones, boots fall into step. A column of cloaked knights files out of the great fortress. "Father really is something else," one of them mutters. "Roping a guest into hunting a magical beast. Did he think so little of us?" Not that he means any slight to the guest. Their father just overreacts. Overdramatic for the head of house? "A bit much," he teases. "Stay out of it." His fist shakes. She just shoots back a flat "what?" The brother offers a name, Marvin Valtus, and gets a flat likewise. Then they push into the misty woods. "Let's wrap this fast and head back to rest." "So, any interest in my sister?" Marvin asks. "No." "Good to hear," comes the easy grin. Right then, a shout cuts the air. "Halt!" A wrecked cart lies in the woods, and they gather around it. "Is this the one?" a knight asks, kneeling at the broken wheel. Hand to his chin, the shepherd just listens, silent. A huge handprint is scorched into the planks. "It's a monkey," one of them decides. "A monkey," he echoes, and they point him to the hand. It hit the peddlers and fled into the trees, leaving a trail to follow. Azella can barely track, so she turns to Marvin. No luck there either. "I'll find it," the shepherd offers, crouching to the wreckage. From that lineage, she wonders. He just says he knows the trick well. Eyes shut, he breathes the command, "Search." Then his eye snaps open. Blue light tears through the trees along the trail. "This way," he says, and points into the green. By a forest stream, the hunting party loses the trail, washed clean in the water. "A mere beast covering its tracks," Azella scoffs, refusing to buy it. "Maybe it just wanted a wash," the shepherd offers, dry as ever. Then his eye snaps, catching something on the air. there. Behind you, he shouts. A house-sized ape rears up roaring, gold marks blazing along its arms. The dark thing blots out the sky. Move, the bearded knight screams, far too late. One sweep flings the knights wide, blood spraying. Turan tears across the ground in a dead sprint. Gray eyes lock cold on the beast. Then he plants himself, blood-flecked, between it and the frozen group. Reaching for a fallen knight, Azella never sees the next blow land. Maybe his mother was right all along, he thinks. Then her order cracks out. Attack! The knights close ranks, ringing the cornered beast. Red-eyed, the ape bolts as a knight yells it's getting away. Somewhere a loaded sling winds up tight. Too fast, they curse. They've lost it. Right then a stone screams past her cheek. She flinches as the light tears by. A lance of blue carves the whole forest in two. It catches the fleeing beast mid-shriek. The hunters freeze, staring back at the impossible. Then the silver-haired guest strolls up, sling still spinning. The shepherd grins, the kill already his. Behind the stunned pair, the slung beast crashed into the dirt. Azella spun into the fight, throwing blades fanned, screaming for its death. One bare hand thrust out and fire roared off her arm. A serpent of flame poured down on the ape's red-eyed face. The blast bloomed wide and the knights threw up their arms. So that, one realized, was House Valtus and its fire-blooded line. The party let out a long breath. The thing was finally down. That rock screaming past her cheek had given her chills, the lady admitted. Her brother smirked, asking if she'd been scared. Across the clearing, the knights bound wounds, one man's arm gone. This head won't stop bleeding, someone fretted. Try the medicine, came the answer. What a mess, the silver-haired knight muttered, glad no one had died. Still, he noted, the worst of these wounds never had to happen. Their mana made them tougher than any knight, yet they hid behind weaker men. Marvin glanced up, caught off guard, and asked what was wrong. It's nothing, the shepherd waves off, half a smile. Azella perks up. Come absorb the mana. Sure, he says. They ring the dead ape, hands out over the husk. Green light coils up his palm as he draws it in. Even split 3 ways, the book said, no one's share shrinks. Both nobles tap out fast, capped by their own growth limit. Now Marvin sees why their father sent the guest along. Proficiency like that, and a well nowhere near full. By dusk, the column winds back toward the spires. Without you, we'd have lost, he says. The track and the kill, both yours. Please, it was nothing spectacular, the shepherd demurs. If anything, he let it strike first. He hadn't expected it to track too. Powers seemed to wake from a monster's outward shape, he notes. Big hands, big eyes, so a hurling arm, and sight that pierces the trees. Wow, all that's so fast, Marvin marvels. He just read it in a library book. 10 days back, the brother had mentioned the library to him. Next time, just ask the librarian for the easy books. The librarian? Azella echoed. Whoever runs the place. Someone like that worked in there? The shepherd wondered. Now the vine-choked tower looms over Orum's plaza. Inside, a small voice chirps a welcome back. He'd been careless before. No commoner names a noble outright. And besides, he thinks, she hardly looks the part. So how do you even know my name? He asks. Her eyes go wide, caught off guard. You only notice now? She shoots back. Figured as much. I read it off your permit. Anywhere in this library, she boasts. Her gaze reaches. Then what should he call her? The wizard wonders. No name to give, she shrugs. Pick whatever you like. Call you something cute like my love, she offers. The shepherd picks librarian instead. Awkward, you going polite, she teases. Days of working me ragged. Never did, he says. And quit crowding in so close, it's a bit much. Are you a wizard from the old empire, he asks. No, never even a person. A soul in something living makes a living spirit. In the lifeless, just a spirit. Put plainly, she says, the library itself is her. This shape is just for easy talking, whatever the user prefers. And his taste, well, don't make things up, he shoots back. Still, she's like a reflection in water. Hand to his chin, he just gives her a flat, doubting silence. Then his palm lands square on her face, shoving her back. Where are you even touching? She squawks. It feels strange. Sorry, she grits through a smile, maddening that she can't lay a hand on an intruder. Every careless soul who ever dragged a book out of here, she'd have made them pay. House Valtus has no idea you exist, he notes. Maybe none of its users do. That's because nobody before him, she says, was ever fit to perceive her at all. The librarian leans in. Only wizards of real bloodline can even see her. What's a bloodline type, he asks. Just what wizards call bloodline. So tell me about mine. She says to ask his parents about that. Or she could check it herself. She just needs leave to read his body. Read his body? He goes stiff. She reaches in, cackling, and he warily asks if this is really how it works. Then he flinches back with a yelp. Look, we're connected, she sings. Don't say weird things, he mutters. Mostly pursuer and hunter blood, she reads. The gift of House Zahar, he wonders. Right then her eye narrows. There's one more. It was mixed, she cries. Mixed how, he asks. He's the child of two different bloodlines, she explains. So what's the second? A locked line, common in blends. It opens as he grows stronger. I see, he says. He falls silent and one word surfaces. Mother. His mother was too polite, too schooled to be common-born. Noble blood run thin. Back in the library, he bows his thanks. The librarian chirps for him to stay longer. Day after day, he pressed her on the books, begging the meaning behind each one. Float water, shape it like a lens, she shows him, and you see the unseen directly. Having nature's laws laid out in plain words was a treasure past counting. Through the water, he learns tiny creatures breed every disease and rot the dead. Refraction, heat born of friction, how flesh tears and mends, all of it clicked. Seated with a red apple before him, the shepherd decides to start with decay. A flick of his fingers and the stem comes free. The fruit blackens and caves in on itself. Incredible, he breathes. Old magic could manage it, but knowing why costs far less mana. Just shifting how he saw the world sharpened his craft as a wizard. Maybe the great houses hoard knowledge like this to keep their edge over lesser mages. No wonder learning withers as the years drag on. Now he gets why. Back at the vine-choked tower, the shepherd decides it's about time he left. You're leaving? The librarian asks. Yes, he says. The Lord's been hinting at it for days. She throws her head back and wails for him to take her along. Then she flops face down on the stone floor with a sob. Sprawled there, she grins. Can he even leave? Stay. She will take good care of him. Floating up behind him, she huffs that he'll never just say he'll stay. The land holds the gods' old legacy, she adds. Look around now and then, and maybe some spirit out there knows even more than she does. He pushes the great doors open and says he'll drop by from time to time. Alone at the shelves, she mutters that he can come or not, whatever. Turan glances back over his shoulder, the smallest smile on his face. Out past the spires, he sets off with the continental map from the library. House Zahar's base, the Enril Desert, lies east of Orem, so east he'll go. He'll head to Zahar, the shepherd thinks, and finally dig up the truth about his parents. So the shepherd leaves Orem behind, coat trailing through the garden. Pack on his back, he follows the library's map east toward the Enril Desert. He's bound for Zahar, set on the truth about his parents. There's no rush, he figures. 18 years on, clues that survive this long won't vanish overnight. He moves on through the trees, two drained husks left in his wake. Then he slows, something tugging at his attention. Nearby, a horse throws its head back and brays. The shepherd drops low behind the brush to watch. A chestnut beast rears over a blonde figure slumped in the dirt, saddle and all, and the thing isn't attacking, it's guarding the fallen man. Two cloaked shapes curse the beast for a demon, baffled it's this strong. His eye narrows. Then they step into the light. Violet skin, white hair, yellow eyes, dark elves. Bandaged hands rise, purple mana coiling up to strike. Shadow and molten light writhe across the desert ground. Those beasts, Turan thinks. Necromancy of the dark elves, straight from a book. Should he step in? Maybe the fallen man struck the elves first. Then something snags his eye. One of them gnaws on a severed hand. Whose hand is this? Asks the other. Eat your own, comes the reply. So they really were cannibals. Under his breath, one word. Concealment. The pair lift their heads, sniffing the air. Out of nowhere, a strike caves a skull. Huh, the survivor blinks, painted in its kin's blood. Black spikes tear up through the cracked earth. Yellow eyes sweep the trees for something unseen. Gather around, it roars, and its beasts close in. A single stone screams in, wrapped in blue light. Then a horned beast lunges, one red eye blazing. Sword-bared, the dark-skinned mage snarls for the coward to show himself. Far below his tiny figure, a green giant rears up the slope. Concealment, the demon spits, scarred face twisting in disbelief. Let's see you keep hiding now, he growls, loosing the sandy beast. Golden mana whips into a vortex around him. Eyes shut, the shepherd holds himself perfectly still. Then the mage's head snaps up, startled. Out of nothing, Turan drops, and the demon shrieks that he's found. Hemmed by two monsters, the mage barks the order to kill. One bare hand opens toward the field. Fire coils up between his palms, a churning pillar. Then he sweeps it loose in a roaring arc. The green brute takes the flame full on. Caught in the blast, the demon tumbles back through the smoke. Scrambling clear, the shepherd notes it's lucky he killed one already. Then something clamps down and the word tears out of him. A wolf monster has his arm in its jaws, blood spraying. It whips him airborne, claws rising to meet him. Airborne, he forces the panic down and fixes on the fight. Across the clearing waits the worst, a red-eyed green brute. It barrels in faster than its bulk should allow. The hit lands. He doubles over, coughing red. 3 monsters now, ringing him as he gasps. Up steps a purple-skinned creature, white-haired and grinning. Furious, he killed its kin. One unseen blow and the thing folds backward. A horned beast stamps it flat. It chokes for help. The pack it sent now circles their own master. Then they scatter, flung off in white force. On all fours it glares up, swearing it will kill him. A lance of blue light tears across the flowered field. It punches into the beast, purple spraying wide. Down it crashes. The shepherd stands quiet at the tree line. Off in the mist, a saddled horse storts and snorts. Turan grins through the blood, the fight finished. Then his knee buckles and he drops to the dirt. Head bowed, he figures this one might actually finish him. A pale muzzle leans down toward the slumped wizard. The horse bows its head and whinnies. He startles. Right, right, he murmurs, patting its nose in thanks. Peering down at him, a wary blond man freezes. The stranger scrambles back, yelling in raw panic. By night, they share a fire, the shepherd watching him close. Quietly, he notes the young traveler has come around. Still wary, the stranger asks if he's the one who saved him from the dark elves. The two size each other up across the dark. By a campfire, the young man strokes his horse, murmuring her name, Tilly. Firelit, the shepherd grins as the stranger brags how clever she is. The blonde gives his name, Aziz of the bloodline. In turn, he offers his own. So is there any reason behind the fight with the dark elves, he asks? None at all, Aziz says. They struck his traveling party without provocation. He'd heard the other races ran cruel, but never imagined this. Tears come, and he weeps quietly while the mare waits beside him. A hand over his face, he apologizes. The ones he lost today meant everything. Were they your family, the shepherd asks? Knights and servants who raised him, comes the answer. Watching the grief, the wizard reads him as a decent sort. How many of them came, he presses. 2, Aziz says. Likely the lot. Eyes lowered, one quiet command leaves him. Explore. The dark rushes past in a blurred streak. No dark elves left in these parts, Turan notes. At the fire, a stranger asks if he's pressed for time. Just traveling, comes the answer. So strong, yet alone. Some great house's son, the man wonders. Not that strong, he insists. He only just scraped through that last fight. Blue fire breathes off the shepherd all the same. The stranger's breath catches. Then both auras flare across the flames, gold against blue. Without the dark elf's mana, he marks quietly, he'd be weaker still. No level to face 2 necromancers, the man thinks. Instinct or a rare bloodline? And why, he keeps asking himself, would someone like that ride alone? If there's no set destination, the stranger offers, join the Burke family, a life debt to repay. They serve Great House Arabian up north, he grins. Artisans who forge magic artifacts. One made to fit him perfectly, the man promises. And the shepherd weighs it. By morning, the dark woods sit quiet. The shepherd, the blonde, and the mare together. Their fight is over, the young noble says, though he'd hoped to send the dead home. Thank you, Sir Turan, he offers. For what exactly, comes the reply. A noble weeping over fallen servants must look pathetic, Aziz figures. And why would it? The justly dead rest with the gods, so grief is weakness. A true noble moves on. But if strength means not mourning family, he'll never be strong, he admits. That isn't weakness, the wizard says quietly. It's kindness. Since they ride together now, he adds, they may as well drop the formalities. That's right, the blonde beams, hand out, counting on you, friend. A long pause, then one flat word back. Friend. Their hands clasp. Counting on you too, he says. How about a short break, Aziz offers, setting a banded chest on the grass. The shepherd crouches over it. What's that? A refrigerated box, the noble grins, packed with food from the last city. Stays cold inside, Turan asks. Keeps a week, Aziz nods. And you can heat it too. He lays out his magic items. One pours water, one raises shelter. Even the cloak he wears cleans itself, he grins. Aren't these supposed to be rare, the shepherd marvels? The blonde swears the outfit barely begins to repay his life. If the elders balk, he vows, he'll force it through himself. Besides, nothing out there compares to what he can do, Aziz adds. He's lost count of the magics he watched the wizard wield. Was it a lifetime of practice, he asks, or some bloodline gift? It just comes to him, the shepherd says, and leaves it there. Backing off, Aziz waves it away as a joke. No such gift exists. So how old is he? The blonde presses. Surely not 80. A month shy of 19 comes the answer, and the traveler reels. 43 this year, Aziz counts. 24 years means little for their kind. 2 necromancers down that young, and who knew such geniuses existed? He knows one more, his second cousin, a prodigy near the shepherd's age. Could that cousin forge him a magic item, he wonders? If it's the main family, Aziz wonders, then could it be? The Princess of Arabian, maybe head of the whole lineage one day. Hooves and boots tread the grass together. A great lineage's leader can't simply hand the seat to their own child. Dozens of cousins share each generation, and someone always outshines the heir. Even so, the most gifted child was born, Mesa. Within 10 years, she'd mastered the bloodline in every combat art. Did the family back her with something special, the shepherd asks? She even drank down their late great-uncle's power, Aziz grins. No wonder the great houses sit at the top, he thinks. Then the blonde points ahead. Looks like they've arrived. His eyes follow the road. Wind combs through the golden grass. Before them open the plains of Decane. Far north, the Burke family's seat, the white-spired city of Zabalin. A noblewoman rushes out, crying for Aziz, her son. "Mother," he chokes, and falls into her arms. Off to the side, the shepherd waits in silence. A stern, mustached man tells the boy to mind his manners. "This is the friend who saved my life," Aziz tells them. Pressed on the journey, he names the attackers. Dark elf necromancers. Dark elves dared touch her son. The lady flies into a rage. "Please calm down," the mustached man murmurs. "People are watching." Then he turns to the stranger. "Which family does he serve?" "Hard to say," comes the answer, and the man's eye sharpens. Honest truth, he admits, a commoner mother, a father he never knew. "You never told me that," Aziz blurts. "So you belong to no house," the matriarch notes. Still, his reward is owed. "A room here is hard," she says, "but the city's finest awaits," and the boy protests. Inside the Burke Hall, the family balks at letting a stranger of unknown name in. If it's on his account, the shepherd tells the aunt, she needn't bother. She softens. The man who saved Aziz won't suddenly turn on her. Then a shape fills the doorway, robed all in black. Out of the dark steps a pale woman, long-haired and still. "Mesa," Aziz breathes, asking what's brought her here so suddenly. That woman, he explains, is the Princess of Arabian. More corpse than princess, the shepherd notes flatly. Zahar dogs nearly killed her, she says, so she came here to hide. An attempt inside the main house, Aziz murmurs, dread creeping in. There's a traitor somewhere, she admits. Plenty in the family loathe her. Tired now, the princess bows out for the night. Well then, the aunt sighs, ready the second best room for him. Night settles over the spired mansion. Come morning, the shepherd sprawls across a canopied bed, stretching awake. A golden lantern hangs in the corridor, glowing soft. Turan wanders the grand halls alone, taking the place in. Then a voice calls his name across the hall. Up early again, the young noble teases, finding him by himself. He nods at the lamp. Aziz calls it a child's enchantment exercise. Plenty spare in storage, comes the offer. The shepherd waves it off. Gold light washes over the wizard's face. The young noble's head turns, caught off guard. It's only Mesa at her drills, he says, diligent as ever. Arabian's blood, Turan notes. The storm lineage, the other confirms. He's never hated his own blood, yet that power leaves him a little jealous. Still, the shepherd wonders just how strong Arabian's heir really is. Curious as he is, he figures a stranger like him shouldn't intrude. Nonsense, Aziz laughs. No assassin here, and he'll vouch for him. A curious question, who's stronger, him or Mesa? Years back, the blonde trained with her, and it's nagged him ever since. He just wants to see her rattled once. Out front, a long-haired woman glances back at the call. They reach her, and the shepherd gives his name, polite as ever. Ah yes, she says, that was the name, so what brings them by? Nothing much, the blonde grins. They saw her training and wanted in. Back then, he struggled a week. She nailed it in 2 and he fled in tears. A muffled sorry slips out of the shepherd while the blonde fumes. Anyway, he brags, his friend is a flat-out monster of talent. Then the real pitch lands. How about the two of them fight? A fight, Mesa echoes, intrigued. The shepherd just stares, dead silent. Then her eye flares blue, gold fire curling up. Mesa faces him. Sorry to say it, but in raw magic power, he'd never match her. What's striking, the blonde cuts in, is how fast his friend learns any spell. A genius beyond anyone Aziz Aziz has met surely passed her too. Fine, she allows. Since he's praised so high, let's test him. Turan counters. Each casts a spell the other won't know. Fastest wins. Good method, the blonde grins. What does she say? She agrees, but bars her own bloodline magic since he can't use his. Going first, she readies it. The shepherd just watches. Blank. Gold tendrils tear up through the courtyard stone. They snare the blonde as he yelps a warning. Then the vines fling him skyward, upside down. Plant creation and control, she says. Can he match it? Vines string Aziz up by his heels, and Misa tells him to hang there a while. Turan folds himself low, riding out the wobble. Fire magic, he reckons, is only burning made real. Water? Moisture pulled from the air. Hand flat to the stone, he gives one word. Grow. One seed splits and sprouts. Not creation, he sees, but growth. Blue mana pours up as shoots tear out of the courtyard. Her eyes sharpen, caught off guard. Seen this somewhere, she asks. A first for him, he says. Then she lets Aziz drop, allowing her cousin was right for once. Now his turn to set the challenge, she tells him. But the Zahar gift would give his blood away. Suicide here. Hand thrown out, and a bed of flowers erupts across the broken stone. Out of the new thicket, a rat creeps onto the floor. Animal control, the princess scoffs. Is that all? He crouches, a small rat in his hand. This one's just the ingredient. His eye flares blue, mana crackling to life. The thing thrashes in his grip as blue fire curls up. A moment later, it hangs limp, drained to nothing. Across from him, the princess goes wide-eyed. He dangles the husk by its tail. Done. Very well, Misa answers. Now her turn. Fingers rise, ready to snap. A fresh mouse skitters across the stone. Then it swells huge, jaws gaping in a shriek. Gold fire wreathes her as she lifts the squirming thing. It kicks and squeals against her burning hand. How did he manage that, she wonders. No ordinary magic. Why pick something so foul, she scoffs. First thing that came to mind, he shrugs. He'd half guessed it. Even a great house like Arabian missed this much. Looks like it won't take, the blonde grins. Best hand the win over. Shut up, she snaps. Of course she can manage this. In magic, the causality factor runs maddeningly complex. A natural effect, a cause clearly grasped, mana enough to spark it. Down in the courtyard, gold light gathers, nearly there. One trick covers thin causality. She floods the gap with raw mana. Her eye blazes blue. She commands the thing to rot alive. The little body festers where it hangs. Then it swells, splitting open into a shrieking beast. Worked, didn't it? The shepherd notes, flat, and the blonde freezes. She did it, the princess breathes over the rotted husk. One blue eye glints behind her hair, but the princess just crumples to the floor and someone screams her name. Aziz drops beside her, shaking her. Wake up, what happened? Did she burn through too much mana? The shepherd wonders. At most she'd be drained, too spent to even hold herself up. Then it clicks. He sees what's really wrong. He scoops her up, asks for a healer. None here, so water and salt instead. She weighs as little as a lamb, the well that fed her run dry. Her eye cracks open on a faint groan. An old maidservant rushes in, begging her to wake. Awake in bed now, she asks why she's here. Word came she fainted mid-drill. She only looks down, saying nothing. Did that man do something to you? The maid presses, watching close. No, it was her own slip, she insists. Now please, everyone out. An old maid brings soup. The magic keeps her from eating, yet her health matters too. Eyes shut, the weary woman lets out a tired sigh. Thank you, auntie, Mesa murmurs across the vast room. Alone now, she stares at the bowl, hollow-eyed and silent. Her pale hand finds the plate. Slowly she lifts a spoonful to her lips. Then her eye sharpens, cold and far away. In the rain, the dead beg her to save them. A child sobs that it hurts. She doubles over, retching, gold fire bursting loose. Her fingers clench the white sheets in pain. Head in her hands, she fights to breathe. Deep beneath the mansion, two men stand before a temple to the limping goddess. Its doors and walls hold firm, solid as muscle trained for centuries. A scarred knight, Haram Berg, warns him not to try breaking out. Yes, understood, the shepherd says, though that wasn't even on his mind. Very solid, the knight adds. A flat yes answers. Extremely solid, he stresses, dead serious. Is the man bragging? The shepherd wonders. Then his eyes snap wide. A blade slides free in a blur. Sword up, the knight settles into a guard. What are you doing? Turan asks. Training, comes the reply. His blade carves a clean arc through the air. No wasted motion. Could this be a trained body's efficiency? Caught watching, he flinches as the older man turns with a grin. Sorry, did I interrupt? He asks. Not at all, Haram says. A bearded swordsman fronts him. What did you read in that move just now? Honestly, the shepherd admits, he found it incredible. I see, the knight says, color rising in his face. Most nobles dismiss martial arts, he goes on. Weak bodies, and magic strikes from afar. Unless the blood runs to brute strength, leaning on power beats the blade. But trials come, he warns, that you have to face whether you want to or not. The sword swings up, and one flat mark answers. A startled "What?" "Hold this," the knight says, offering the hilt across. "You shut me in as a suspect," the shepherd notes, "and now you arm me." "Doesn't matter," comes the reply. "It's only a length of iron. The blade is only as good as the body wielding it, and yours cannot cut me." Curious now, the shepherd weighs the steel. What could he do with this? Eyes narrowing, he drops low, blue fire curling up the sword. "That's not it," the swordsman barks. "Don't pour mana in," he orders, and a flat "all right" answers. Weight onto the front legs, knights crowd in, fixing the stance. "Raise your arm, set no limit of your own." "Yes, sir," comes the reply. "Good, 10 reps now, and breathe into the muscles." "A fine vessel," the knight grins. "Make time to wring that body dry." Mana is parlor tricks, he says. Only the floor of what flesh can do. A trained body tears through a battlefield without it. The shepherd just nods. Then his eye snaps to the door. Out past the threshold, the princess steps inside. "Pardon me, Turan," she says. "She's wronged their benefactor." "No," he answers. "The guest who behaved badly should be the one to apologize." Misa wanted to apologize properly, the word comes. Has he the time? This is troublesome, he thinks, as she begs pardon for the fuss. It was necessary, he tells her, only glad she's safe. Misa rounds on him about yesterday's rot magic. Some secret bloodline trick? It's no bloodline trick, he tells her. Grasp the principle and anyone could do it. Hide the method, she presses, and no one can prove it's not bloodline born. She balks. If it ends here, how would she look? Then a deal. Spill the secret and she'll hand him one of Arabian's own arts. So the bargain is struck in that bright hall. She works it out. Bioenhancement, but driven by microbes no eye can see. That's why hers was so wasteful, the princess fumes. Fine, the loss is hers. He counted that as part of the bet. She snaps that wasted mana shouldn't count. Could he just tell Aziz it was a draw? She'd rather not watch him gloat. Still, he's owed proper payment, Misa decides, crossing to a cabinet. She holds up an ornate comb. This should do. Drawing it through her hair, she gets only a flat stare from the shepherd. Rub two things together, she shows, and they pull toward each other. Static electricity, the wizard murmurs, eyes up. She reels. He already knew this art? A flat yes. Even this counts as a profound art, she admits. He'll find what she doesn't know. Train with me till the debt's paid, she offers. Not that she needs him. Fine, he smiles. The garden, tomorrow evening. A whole feast crowds the table. Nothing much, the host says. Please eat your fill. Aziz gapes. Never seen this much, even on his birthday. No ordinary meal, the shepherd thinks, on guard. The matriarch resumes. Her son pledged a magic tool to repay his saved life. That's right, she says. Anything particular in mind? He wants defense, something to guard a sudden strike. Easy enough. She's made such things, just none ready now. I'll make it, a blonde craftsman offers. A main house job just freed him up. Asked how, the craftsman says a piece worn at all times works best. Mana set in a ring or pendant pulls out a guardian bloodline's defense. 1 month. Across town, a wizard brags his child Mello nearly matches him. At her table, the matriarch insists no gift is too much for her son. Stay a month while the tool is forged, she tells him. Out over the rooftops, Aziz says his mother's grown fond of him. Your magic rivals Mesa's, he adds, and you always train. Sounds like she wants me in the family, the shepherd notes. Exactly how she reels people in, the blonde grins. No one's forced to wed, though. She's more refined than that. He's promised to train with the princess come evening. Plenty of time, Aziz says, hauling him out to roam the city. Hold up training on a day like this? Honestly, yes. Life's too short, the blonde laughs, dragging him along the stones. A roulette wheel rattles to a stop. At the table, he just shakes his head. His friend points to the chips. Out front, Aziz waves a ticket, grinning ear to ear. They cut through the busy workshop yard. The shepherd glances back, unconvinced. Then a wall of wanted posters snags his eye. His face goes stiff. One bearded face he knows. Kaorn? A player hams it up on a small stage. Wooden blades crack together in a burst of sparks. Long ago, the tale runs, Arabian's warriors rode into the demon desert. There, a lone knight, Kaorn, beat the enemy by God's grace. Up front, the blonde cheers. Beside him, the shepherd just stares. Worth the ticket, his friend asks. Very good, he murmurs, miles away. The real man only ever called himself an ordinary knight. Someday, face to face, he'll ask if any of it was true. Light pours through the tall lattice windows. The shepherd lies still, saying nothing. Across from him, a scarred knight only watches. Come morning, Haram crouches by the bed, asking if he rested. You've a rare gift for mana, he adds. The boy blinks, lost. Toughening time, the knight says. Follow me. Fine, let's go, Turan allows, beats lying around bored. Then the blonde bursts in, calling his name. Word of the duel reached him. One look at his uncle and Aziz yelps, shrinking back. Temper that soft body too, the man offers, the blonde stammers. Still not recovered, he blurts, then bolts down the hall. What's gotten into him, the shepherd wonders. Hours later, he understands exactly why. Pinned under iron, he grinds out one more as the knight barks for another. Palms flat to the stone, he braces for one last push. Enough, the knight calls. Sprawled out, the shepherd drags for air. Standing over him, Haram asks if it's tiring. A flat yes. Lucky he's a wizard, the knight adds. Once is plenty. Different otherwise, he wonders? An ordinary body softens again, even tempered once. It takes constant trials. But a wizard's mana holds him at his peak. Forged to steel, it stays. Then the knight grins, rested enough by now. He flinches, scrambling to say he isn't. Your body never lies, comes the reply. Now, weapons and combat. His scream tears across the training hall. Days at the Burke house turned out full ones. Mornings he wakes early, trading blades with Haram in a space that doubles his weight. Come evening, back at the mansion, he drills magic with Mesa, friction off the fingertips. 3 weeks slip by at the Burke estate. Blue lightning cracks wide of the mark. Missed again, the shepherd notes, fingers still sparking. Mesa watches. He's fighting this harder than she'd guessed. Grass in his teeth, he shrugs. He's no Arabian. She's never had to aim the lightning. For her, it just lands. Then a voice calls for her across the garden. Aziz hurries up. There they were. He falters, glancing between them. Who's this to her exactly? None of your business, she cuts in. She'd told the house to leave her be. The patriarch wants her, he says. Out with it, she warns, or face punishment. Dark elves are tearing through the south. 3 cities already fallen. Violet-skinned and yellow-eyed, the cast-out race swarms the dark. They've come, and the shepherd lifts his eyes. Dark elves have launched a massive offensive in the south. Violet-skinned and yellow-eyed, the cast-out swarm fills the dark. They've appeared, the shepherd thinks, calm in the morning light. A messenger bows. She'll be back soon. Then she turns to him. She has to go. Misa remembers the payment still owed for that rot magic. Hands clasped, an idea snaps into place. Did he know electricity runs through the body too, she asks? Electricity, Turan echoes, not quite following. Of course he didn't. It's House Arabian's own secret. Teach it properly, she offers, and the debt's settled. Fair enough, he allows. Sense a thing, she explains, and that part fires a tiny signal to the brain. Eyes shut, he turns it over. One small spark racing inward. And that current, she says, runs through every inch of the body. Channel the body's own electric signals, he reasons, and speed them up. Lightning floods his fist. His eye catches fire with the charge. Out in the garden, the princess shows him hers. Watch closely, she says. The lightning folds into a delicate butterfly. How's this? A flat laugh from the shepherd. What even is that? Sparks crawl over his hair. The trick rattles him. Then he doubles over, gripping his head. You managed it, Misa allows. Just bled your mana dry doing it. Too rich a gift, he says, for the little he traded back. He stamps forward, stone cracking white. Call it an investment, she shrugs. He's clearly got talent. Learn something grander someday, the princess adds, and she'll collect it back with interest. With that, she turns and strides off. The shepherd lifts his eyes. The reckoning has come. Out over the rooftops, a falcon cries. Hooded ranks fill the square below the mountains. Glory to Arabian, the townsfolk roar, fists in the air. It's a hunt for dark elves, he notes. Yet it plays like a victory parade. Then the blonde perks up, struck by a thought. Over here, he calls, as Mesa rides up on her horse. Mind your noble composure, the swordsman warns. The boy starts to protest. The head of the house is entering, a voice announces. Boots ring on stone as he strides in with his retinue. That face, he realizes, is one he knows. It's the current head of the house himself. Badal Arabian, scarred and grim, leads them out. He looks ghost pale, the shepherd murmurs. Is his health failing? Rumor has it he was gutted once, dueling the Zahar head. A bandaged hand lifts toward the storm. The old knight's eyes drift up, a soft, ah. Black clouds roll in over the city, then gold lightning splits the sky. Long live Arabian, the host roars. Thunderlord, shield your blood. Such is the might of Arabian, the highest a human's magic ever climbed. One day he'll stand there too, the blonde swears. Back at the estate, a hand offers a braided band. Wear it and your stamina lifts. Feed it mana, higher still. Hold that peak too long though, and it drinks mana fast. A rare treasure, the shepherd marvels. Even great houses lack its like. Then the matriarch says his name, Turan. Any interest in formally joining the house? The matriarch asks. Grateful as he is, he says, that would be hard. She'd heard from Aziz he has too much to do to settle anywhere. At the door he bows. He'll never forget her hospitality. Then the shepherd steps out into the stone hall, the month behind him. His eye catches on something ahead. Out in the yard wait the swordsman and the blonde, come to see him off. Take this, Haram says, tossing something over. A magic blade, the knight adds. Plain but durable and wickedly sharp. Thank you, the shepherd murmurs, holding it close. Master, he says in parting. Without a word, the knight turns and walks off down the cobbles. Right then Aziz slings an arm round him, grinning. A black cloak now? You did say you envied my clothes. These barely stain, Aziz says, and mend small tears on their own. The shepherd takes them, a quiet thanks on his lips. You're a good friend, the blonde grins, not just for saving my life. So where to now, he asks. East, comes the answer. If he means Carmane, skip the boats. Those waves are brutal. The land he's after lies past that crossing, he thinks, and says nothing. Come back and settle up for the cloak, the blonde adds. A flat yeah. Out across the goldfields, the road opens up. Pack on his shoulders, Turan walks on alone again. So, he muses, boots scuffing the dirt. Why not run? And he breaks into a sprint. Then something snags his eye. A flat huh. Mid-stride, he flicks a glance ahead. One heel digs in and he stops dead. Up snaps his gaze, wary. Then a lone road, one pack, one shepherd, toward the far peaks. Something off, he murmurs, turning his head. Smoke on the wind. No, the reek of burning flesh. His gaze sharpens. Out ahead, a whole village lies in rubble. Among the ash slumps a charred body. Bodies hang staked along the broken poles. Bandits, maybe, he wonders? Dark elves wouldn't reach this far. Then something else tugs at him. Timbers down, stone caved, the town gutted. It's here, he breathes, sinking to a crouch. One bandaged hand closes on a fallen beam. Then he heaves the heavy cover aside. Deep under a ruined keep, a girl huddles on cold stone. Then she screams, raw with terror. Easy, he says, hands up, no enemy, just here to help. Through her tears, she barely dares it. Really? Crouching close, he asks her what happened here. A mage killed everyone, she chokes out. A mage, he echoes. Then her strength gives, and she folds to the floor. He gathers her up. Nothing serious, just spent from so long trapped below. First, the shepherd thinks, get this child somewhere safe. Blue light hardens into a blade in his fist. Right then a shout cracks the air. Found you! A blonde fighter wheels on him, lightning and fire flaring. Down on your knees, she barks, an ice-bright bow drawn full. Murderous bastard, she spits, and he just stands there, the child asleep in his arms. Wasn't this massacre enough for her? The archer snarls, bow snapping up. Don't move, a blonde fighter barks, a fire spear flaring in his fist. Wait, this is a misunderstanding, the shepherd says, the child asleep in his arms. The flame hurls straight at him. Fire swallows the frame. Gil, you idiot, the archer shouts. There was a child right there. Her eye blows wide with horror. A hand claws through the smoke. Then he stands untouched, one palm thrust out and glowing blue. Didn't expect to need this so soon, the wizard murmurs, the bracelet bright on his wrist. Not one burn mark. He blocked it with his body, the four of them breathe. What kind of defense is that, she wonders. A bloodline gift. He says it again. He never touched this village, and the next attack he'll answer. The archer holds her draw, saying nothing. In his arms, the black-haired girl stirs awake. It tracks, the blonde allows. No killer lingers to save a child. She gives her name, Beeson, and asks his. Turan, he answers. Even so, the evidence points at him. Why trust his word? Ask the girl when she wakes, he offers. She saw the real culprit. A startled what jolts the whole group. She saw the arsonist, Beeson repeats, thrown. Don't say he doesn't know the man, she presses. He flatly doesn't. For months, a mad mage has been hitting lonely villages. He binds the people and burns them alive. No survivor ever lived to name his face or even his sex. All they have is one word for him. The arsonist. Awake now, the girl describes a red cloak, a beard, a lumberjack's hard look. Her rescuers gather close, the wrong man cleared at last. The shepherd waits, arms folded. Sweat slides down Beeson's cheek. Sorry for the drawn bow, she says, head bowed. A flustered me too from the other. Her fury falters. This is no murderer. He put the child's health first, that's what counts, she admits. Did she come to catch the arsonist? Yes, a stranger at a fresh fire fooled them. A description now, and they'll have him soon. They've a born tracker along. Tracker, he echoes. Then, are you Zahar? No, Beeson Carmane, of House Carmane out of Abisha. The others are her vassal's kin. Asha there carries thinned Zahar blood, sharp at tracking, useless at hiding. More to the point, Beeson says, she has a request. Help them run the arsonist down. Take the whole bounty, even her share of mana. She only needs the mission's credit. How strong is this firebug, he asks. Noble level for certain. Some villages had knights guarding them, she says, and he killed them all. Maybe just the opponent he needs. Roadside beasts stopped feeding his power long ago. Fine, he says, and her face splits into a grin. First, though, get the child somewhere safe. Here's coin enough to raise the child, he tells the innkeeper, and he'll swing back in a few years to check on her. The old man just gapes, clutching the pouch. Smoke still hangs over the gutted village. The shepherd shuts his eyes, taking it in. Then they snap open, sharp. Out in the trees, the party agrees there's more ground to cover. Which way, someone asks. This way, comes the call. A shake of his head, not that road. So how is he tracking the man, Asha presses. First the human footprints, he says, then the scent of ash on the wind. Quite professional, she allows. She'd never even pinned down his sex. His eye narrows to a slit. Found it. Wait, the blonde shouts, breaking into a run. Slow down. At a black cave mouth in the cliffs, the trail ends. Turan, a voice calls. Up to the front, the rest stay back. A hand lifts, and white light blooms in the dark. 4 of them push deeper into the cave, light leading the way. Someone inside, the blonde murmurs, peering ahead. One person, the tracker breathes, a blue eye flaring. Across the cracked stone they close in. The blonde steadies, jaw set. A torch catches, and firelight floods the chamber. Then a lone hooded figure stands waiting in the glow. What brings you gentlemen out here? The man asks, eyes blank and white. That strange scent, Turan notes. It's him. Bow drawn, she demands. Did he burn those villagers? Not sure what you mean, he grins, teeth bared. Then his hand snaps up, fingers spread. Fire erupts and the whole chamber goes white. A storm of fire roars at the shepherd. One bandaged hand goes up, the bracelet flaring blue. They square off, his shield up, her ice bow trained on him. Off to the side, a gaunt, cracked-faced man jolts. An ice shard streaks loose across the burning ground. The shaft punches through, blood spraying. He staggers, hunching over the wound. Then his eye snaps wide with fury. His hand shoots out, fingers splayed wide. A giant hand of cracked stone rears up before them. Earth magic, he muses, but the man wields flame. One strike and the stone hand shatters to rubble. Then the shepherd hurls himself straight at the downed mage. The mage flings a hand up, one eye burning red. Blue light lances out and tears clean through him. The girl screams as the clash erupts around her. Fingers snap and blue lightning gathers in his fist. Down comes the charged punch into the screaming fighter. The current bites, the man howls. His attacker crumples amid shattered stone. Turan stands over the crackling, downed body. Took him down, he tells the others. Go check the rest. A few seeds rest in his open palm. The fighter glares up from the dirt, jaw set. Vines erupt and coil tight around him. Sight and movement sealed, the shepherd says, it's over. Blade in hand, he nudges the man awake. Teeth bared, the captive snarls up at him. Don't move, he warns. One more spark and you die. Who are you? The man rasps. You're the arsonist, comes the reply. The killer just bares his teeth, saying nothing. That was him, cutting them down as they screamed. Why would a rogue noble burn locals alive? The shepherd presses. God told him to, the man babbles. Burn the sinful, reach God. The whole party goes still. What? Then he grins. God taught him to steal other bloodlines. Burn a few more, and the flame bloodline is his. Madness, one of them breathes. No one steals a born bloodline. So many dead over a reason that pathetic. Turan only watches him, quiet. Even commoners grow strong killing demonic beasts, the man insists. An old hunter once swore the same. He'd watched mages do it. Worst of all, he realizes, this isn't just a madman's delusion. One bandaged fist clenches tight. Whatever he's truly found, that one mad eye gleams up at them. The bound zealot slumps in the dirt, the party ringed close. One of them turns away, sick to his stomach. Putting down a man who can't fight back, Gil mutters, feels like butchering cattle. Don't go soft, she snaps. They all nearly burned here. After the dead he piled up, no slow death would settle it. Then a bandaged hand pulls a worn book from him. Off to the side, the shepherd crouches and reads. Proof enough that this is the one who burned them. Right then, his eye catches on something. Combination formulas he's never seen. Did the god whisper these too? So Bisen steps up and calls him by name. Let's drain his mana, she says, eyeing the broken mage. Hands settle over the body and green mana pours upward. Elsewhere, a servant bows. Congratulations, a new star rises in House Carmaine. Out in the square, the three of them trade goodbyes. He waves off the praise. The party means to keep roaming, hunting monsters as they go. A coin pouch drops into his bandaged palm, and Beeson asks his plans. Straight on to Abacha, the shepherd answers. She leans close, low. What the firebug told them stays between them. He gives his word. True or not, it would only breed chaos. Then they throw up their hands, calling it till next time. A wave back, and he keeps the rest quiet. No real proof yet. Past the town, dunes roll out to the horizon. One small figure crosses the sand, footprints trailing behind. He tips his face up. The air has gone humid. Up comes a bandaged hand to read the wind. Flame flickers in his grip, weaker now and hungrier. Fire will be hard here, but water answers easy, an orb of it blooming bright in his other hand, which means the burning is far from over. Then the shepherd treks across open desert alone. A port city sprawls along the coast below. Abacha at last. He threads into its sun-baked streets. Down at the docks, he asks a hauler if they sail tomorrow. They do, to the dread Enril Desert where merfolk pelt the hull into a honeycomb. Is it really that bad, he asks? Then come the pirates, the sailor adds. At this rate, the captain grumbles, it's funeral costs, not wages. They need a real knight. The wizard steps up. Are you the ship heading to the desert? They are, but there's no room. He won't ditch a barrel of booze for one passenger. Instead, a hand settles on the table and the captain blinks. Hey, what are you doing? He starts. Fingers close on the roast and it freezes to solid ice. No way, the captain breathes, staring at the smoking block. At a poor inn, the crew gapes at a silver-haired stranger they take for a knight. What brings a knight to this place? An old sailor asks. He'll ride as a guard, not a passenger. Fending off pirates or merfolk pays his fare. Their ship is dirt poor, the crew warns. No real wage, no room fit for his rank. Pay and comfort mean nothing to Turan. He only needs to reach the Enril Desert. A stunned really jolts the old sailor upright. Then it's settled. The one-eyed captain beams. Come aboard. His ship waits at the dock, sails high against the sky. Far off, a whole town burns in the night. A wounded fighter crouches in the smoke, breath ragged. Out of the flames lunges a pale, fanged thing, shrieking. Blade flashing, the man cuts it down. More shapes close in. He wheels, sword up. Then the creatures swarm him all at once. A blonde fighter grits his teeth. At this rate, they're finished. Then he charges into the firestorm, gold fire blazing. Years back, a lone soldier stood frozen among the dead. Down through the smoke dropped a cloaked figure. The rescued man breathed his thanks. Rejoin the unit, she said. At her word, he scrambled back to the lines. They called the lady Mesa, a red-haired knight at her back. Are you hurt? The vice captain asked her. No fussing, uncle, she said. But Cadram warned she outweighed a knight or two. Fine, she said. The fight went well, he answered, though the tunnel stayed hidden. Send word when they're found, she said. She'd go in herself. Then she sprang off into the burning sky. Cadram watched her vanish, a wry click of the tongue. What an insolent girl, he muttered. His brother had raised her far too recklessly. At this rate, he warns, she'll go the way of her mother and brother. Out on the open sea, a ship cuts west under full sail. At the rail stands a silver-haired figure in a black coat. Even reaching Zahar, the wizard admits, he has no idea where to start. He doesn't even know his father's rank. Barging in could end badly. All he carries are a few heirlooms and a drawing of his mother. A bandaged hand reaches for the portrait. Hey, Sir Knight! An eye-patched sailor laughs. What's got you so deep in thought? Just admiring how vast the ocean is, he says, smiling it off. Landfolk get queasy at all that water. The man asks if he's seasick. Not at all. By the way, the sailor adds, word is he's learning the ropes from the boatswain. Good knowledge to have, Turan offers, and more interesting than he expected. Down in the hold, a shout goes up. Mealtime! Eat first, then work, the sailor calls. Everyone to the dining hall. Bandaged hands set a plate of food down. On a ship now, a sailor praises the pickled cabbage. A bearded sailor explains, scurvy kills, but sour food cures it. Curious, Turan asks how he learned that. The sailor adds that people once ate merfolk raw for it. A shout drops from the rigging. Ship ahead. Spyglass up, the lookout can't tell if it's pirates. Through the lens, the strange ship flies no house crest. An old captain grunts. Too calm a day, they're pirates. Blades come up from the barrels, the crew braces for battle. A crewman asks if they can outrun them. The pirates are faster. With the right wind, the captain says, they could reach an island first. Turan turns to him. Will the crew be all right? No knights or nobles aboard, he figures. Then no real danger. Very well, a mustached officer says. Turn the ship, we're engaging. Two tall ships cut across the bright water toward each other. On the raider's deck, they jeer, stop and we'll spare your lives. Will they really, someone wonders, or cut off our legs first? Just as I thought, the silver-haired warrior says, stepping forward. Then he leaps the gap between the hulls, cloak flaring. Sword drawn, he lands among them and pins a man down. What is this? The crew recoils, blades half raised. Bodies hit the sea, one after another. Blue light whips across the deck and cuts them down. The magic tears through the raiders mid-scream. If they're those kinds of people, he murmurs, a hard grin breaking. One glowing eye, one bright hand raised. Then there's no need to go easy. Bodies litter the raiders' deck, and the silver-haired guard stands alone among them. Don't lose your nerve, a headband raider barks. Kill him, or we're the ones who die. The crew rings him on every side, blades leveled inward. Then water answers his call, blooming up in a bright spiral. One pirate breaks from behind, weapon hauled high to split his skull. The blow comes down, but a blue edge sweeps across and opens the man's arm. Don't stop, their leader screams as another falls bloodied. Keep attacking. Cold-faced, the wizard cuts through the rush, light slashing past his cheek. A whirl of his hand and the blade carves the next one down. Blue arcs whip out in pairs, dropping 2 raiders at once. He drives low under the sky and runs the last charger through. Up on the rail, a shaking hand clings on for dear life. One thrust buries the edge in a bald pirate's chest. He chokes and folds. The body falls away above him and the shepherd doesn't even blink. Blue light arcs off his blade as he cuts the first raider down. Cold-eyed, he sweeps his arm across, already onto the next. Bodies drop around him, blood fanning over the deck. Then jagged ice punches clean through a pirate's chest. Right then, a bald raider lunges and locks both arms around him from behind. One twist, and the man is flung loose in a spray of red. Got him, the pirate crows. Finish him off! As 2 more leap in, swords high. Their eyes blow wide in the same breath. Caught fast, the shepherd only grins, quiet and unbothered. The blades hit his back and stop dead, the knife refusing to go in. Snarling, the raider throws his whole weight into one last thrust. Turan's counter lands, and blood bursts from the man. Then he wheels into the rest, silver hair flying, blue trailing his hand. Blue light whips across the deck, and blood sprays. Pirates fold one after another, shrieking. Then the shepherd stands alone, ice blade dripping red. From above, the whole deck lies carpeted with their dead. A crewman whoops down from the rigging. Up come the sailors, gaping. He really cleaned house. The captain teases him about moonlighting as a janitor. The crew cheer the night. Serves the bastards right, they jeer, then beg him to see the ship's doctor. Not hurt at all, Turan says, faint smile through the blood. A sailor reports he combed every inch of the raider's ship. That hole, the captain explains, was a merchant vessel stolen from Ibiza years back. Since he won it alone, the ship is his by right. New owner of the vessel, the captain beams. A flat O is all he gives. Battle won, the captain spreads out his options. Haul the pirate ship back to Ibiza, he says, and the paperwork would swallow months. Better to sell it at the archipelago on their route, always starved for hulls. A ship that size, though, needs his own crew, no sailing it alone. Use my men, Turan grants, and I'll pay for them. Leave the whole sail to you for a 20% cut. The captain roars he could never refuse, and swears a fat price. Right then a sailor bursts in, a mermaid. Now the merfolk are on us too, the captain barks. Not attacking, the pirates had one chained up as a prisoner. It sits down in the ship's hold. Crewmen scramble across the bloody deck. A prize really waits down there, he notes. Only the report so far. With the raiders dead, an eye-patched sailor claps his shoulder, beckoning him to their prize. Down into the hold, Turan asks if mermaids fetch a high price. A beautiful one does, the sailor says. Rich mainlanders lose their heads over anything mystical. He swings a door open. It's just this way. The shepherd steps in, his face going still. But the bound thing is no glowing maiden, just a hunched merman, tail roped up. Blue-scaled and dejected, he barely lifts his head. A shame it's a male, the sailor sighs. A merman won't sell for much, he grumbles, short of the fish royalty out of legend. Then the captive snaps upright. He is Armani, 47th Prince of North Estade. Some royal brat, Turan murmurs. Bluffing, maybe, but worth keeping alive to sell. So turn into a fish, the sailor taunts. Not now, the prince stammers. Tied up and dry, he wails. He can only change at sea in perfect form. The wizard says nothing, and the sailor scoffs. He's just stalling to wriggle free. A bound merfolk child huddles on the deck between them. Then I'll kill him, the shepherd says. No coin in him anyway. The captive shrinks against his ropes, one wide eye darting. Blue fire blooms in his palm above the boy. A strangled stoppet bursts from the merfolk, eyes blown wide. He swears he's never eaten a human, never even thought of it. One wide eye begs them to believe him. Spare me and I'll give you treasure, he pleads from the floor. Treasure, they echo back. He nods eagerly. Yes, treasure. A relic left by the Freyan gods, he swears, the ones humans worship. Out at the docks, ships ride the golden tide. Dry land at last, the crew whoops, drinks all around tonight. At the rail, a sailor asks Turan if he's decided. It's not far, the shepherd figures. He'll be back by nightfall. A small boat waits at the wharf. His bound passenger bristles at the chains. A prince keeps his word. Pointed ears, a teary plea. If the treasure's real, set me free. A bandaged hand glows blue, and he agrees. Don't blame me, the prince sniffs. It's a treasure of the Freyans. Fine, he says, just lead the way. The little boat skims the moonlit sea. Barebacked, the guide bounds ahead into the dark. Down through the deep follows the wizard. Eyes wide, he presses deeper. Then a vast serpent lies coiled on the seabed. One small figure stands on the Leviathan's back. The prince warns him not to expect much from a Freyan trinket. Fine, the shepherd says, just lead the way. Out across the moonlit water, the little boat slips on. Is that it, he asks? The merman nods toward a black island. Hand to the water, he calls for a moment. Then blue mana pools in his palms. Search. The spell spreads through the deep, fixing on the merman. At least it's no merfolk stronghold, he figures. Waves break white against the island rock. The boat grounds on a dark, wooded shore. Chained and barefoot, the prince swears it was right around here. Then he stops short. Found it. It's here, the boy crows. The shepherd just stares. How deep, he asks. Only 300 meters down, the prince says. He says nothing at all, and the merman blinks back, lost. Turan lashes the prince to a tree before the dive. What are you doing? The merman yelps. Tying me up again. Dive down and die, he wails, and I starve to death here. Then hope it doesn't happen, the shepherd answers, for both our sakes. Down he sinks through the moonlit shallows, fish drifting past. One long breath and his eyes fall shut. A trail of bubbles streams up as he plunges into the dark. Let's see what's down here, he murmurs. Silver hair streaming, the wizard knifes deeper head first. Now he can see a bit, his sight magicked clear. Then a vast serpent lies coiled across the seabed. He crouches small atop its enormous fanged head. A startled "ah" slips out, bubbles trailing his mouth. Both hands clap over his lips. His air nearly bursts loose. Out of breath, the shepherd kicks for the surface as the Leviathan's jaws yawn above. Down on the Leviathan's back, an armored figure kneels, head bowed. Cracked skin, blue eyes, and no wraith ever rose from it. He drifts up close, small against the giant. Set in the dark armor, a golden relic glows. Back on a moonlit shore, a bound figure waits by the water. Then the wizard breaks the surface with a gasp. Armani strains at his ropes. Did you find it? A flat yes is all he gives, climbing out. Blue fire blooms in his palms. Light washes over the prince, tied and wary. Turning the relic over, he feels it. Living things, the energy inside them. Loosed, the merman splashes up, waving. He climbs out on webbed feet, still shaky. A promise is a promise, the shepherd says. He keeps his word. Tearful, the prince vows his father's people won't touch him in any war. Quit babbling, the shepherd cuts in, one hand raised. Out on the rocks, the prince slips into the dark water. Then a vast serpent looms in the deep and his eyes go wide. So the brat wasn't bluffing about being royalty after all. Back at port, the wan ship rides the morning tide. Below, a sailor groans face down in his own blood. Patch me up, one begs, the deck strewn with the wounded. Up front, the captain roars an oath and the crew chant it back. Stepping out from the cabin, Turan asks what the fuss is. Latecomers from last night's tavern brawl are getting the lash. The shepherd watches in flat silence. Quietly, blue light blooms over the whipped men's backs. When they bleed, he tells himself, he can see their life ebbing. Later, he asks after the captain, gone ashore to sell the ship. In a warm tavern, the old sea dog haggles with a buyer. The one-eyed captain's head jerks up. You're here, the man calls. Now about that deal. This is Captain Samuel, the buyer. 1,000 gold for the ship, paid in full. Not bad, the shepherd allows, but there's a catch. Hauling gold around is a nuisance. Could he take relics or magic tools instead? Nothing that fine turns up here, the buyer says. He'll have to ride to Komad, second city of Zaharland, run by House Durman, a line that tames beasts. A trained beast that follows speech, he muses, would earn its keep on the road. The ship cuts on across open water. A fine voyage, a sailor laughs. The pirates turned into coin. Up in the rigging, the lookout shouts, dark clouds ahead. The sea blackens and the cry goes up. A storm. On the ship plows toward it as the order rings out to brace. Then the waves rear up white in the driving rain. Furl the sails, the captain roars. Get the cargo below, fast! Days back, a storm hits and the crew fights to save the cargo. A whirlpool yawns wide and starts to swallow the ship. Men lose their grip and tumble off the rigging. One sailor plunges screaming toward the churning water. Mid-fall, he feels something catch him and blinks. Then blue light blooms around every falling man and the crate alike. Gently, the magic sets them all back down on the deck. "Get down," the shepherd orders, and a shaken sailor obeys. His blue glow wraps the loose ropes tight. The crates freeze solid, locked to the planks. "Everyone below," he calls as the vortex roars. Soaked and spent, the crew huddle under blankets till it passes. He steps in at the door, and the sailors bow their thanks. "Heard it all?" the captain asks. "No," he says, "and that's enough." The captain thanks him. "Furl the sails any later and they'd have gone down. Trust the ship and the helmsman," he says. But there's worse. Below deck, the crew huddle in blankets, shaking with cold. Turan watches them, saying nothing. Hand raised, he calls everyone into a circle around him. "Fire on a narrow wooden boat," the captain blurts. "That's madness." A snap of his fingers answers. Then a globe of golden flame blooms in his cupped hands. Up it swells, swirling across the whole hold. "Never magic this fine," a sailor breathes. Warmth washes over them, and the shivering men start to smile. One old hand finally grasps what his elders drilled into him. "Humans shall serve the wizard," the saying goes, "and the wizard shall rule them, yet care for them too." Komad, the biggest city in the northern Enril desert. His ship eases into the docks, and he steps ashore. The captain presses a purse on him. "Too much," he protests. "Refuse it, and God frowns," the old sea dog warns. The crew all chipped in. "Fine," he relents. "Next time, a proper meal on me." "Sir Knight!" a sailor bellows across the deck. Up on the rigging, the whole crew wave him off. Turning to go, Turan thanks them. They swear they won't forget him. The one-eyed captain lays a hand over his heart. Then he raises a fist in farewell and sets off alone. Into Komad's crowded streets he goes, beasts hauling past. Through the relic he sees it, a blue spark of life in every chest. An armored guard stands watch among the robed crowd. He steps up to a stranger. "Excuse me." Mana flaring, he leans in. "Are you a knight of House Durman?" A servant bows him into the city. "At your command." Silver hair, a traveler's pack. He asks to see the house head. Beyond the palms stands the domed Durman Palace. They seat him in borrowed finery, and he tugs the collar straight. "It suits you well," the host says, blue mana curling between them. "Pleased to meet you," the man across from him says. "Cal Durman." He looks the shepherd over. Your name and house?" he asks. "Turan Brahms, a fallen guardian line. A rumor brought him to buy a monster. The host sends a daughter to guide." "One more thing," he ventures. "Ever seen a face like mine?" Grinning, the host waves it off. "Nothing at all." "You hesitated, though. You look like someone I know." Down the long carpet they walk, Cal weighing his guest's coin. "A guardian line fits the mercenary road," he muses, a bespectacled girl at his side. Who did the man see? His mother? His father? A dark-haired woman wonders if she favors her mother enough to catch his eye. And that silver-haired stranger, could he be the father she never knew? "We're here," a voice says, and Turan glances up, caught off guard. "Spacious," he allows. "Every room here a habitat of its own." Two wolves circle a sunlit glade, rumbling low and content. A tusked giant lifts its trunk and trumpets. "How much for that one?" "Raised with care," the seller says. 4,000 gold, twice all he owns. Give up on a mount? Still, gold won't haul itself across a desert. The shepherd stops before a caged black bird. "What about this one?" he tries. 1,500, the woman says. "Cheap, but it'd empty his purse. What can it even do?" "Smart and a fine flyer," she offers. He just stares. "Popular bird, but too clever. It won't obey anyone it judges dumber than itself." The hawk cocks its head, one golden eye locked on him. In Komad, Turan crouches by a cage and asks if the beast follows his words. "A bit ugly too," he adds, and the bird cocks its head. The handler swears it grasps everything, yet it never once took to reading. "Such a waste," she sighs. "All that strength, and it just won't obey. Is there something you want?" she presses the bird, knowing it's hopeless. One huge curved talon grips the perch. Then the great black bird fixes its golden eye on the shepherd. "Why now, all at once?" the handler murmurs, thrown. "You want me?" he asks, and the bird dips its head. "Yes. Nothing special about the wizard, so why him?" "Buy you," he offers. "And would you finally learn your letters?" Painted hands cup a swirl of rose gold magic. "It's done," a tamer says. The two of them are bound now. Wings wide, the bird settles onto his arm in a drift of feathers. "Strange how it takes to you," she says. "Mind it well." He will. Hawk on his arm, he eyes the househead. He could let this slide, but the master leans in. Does he have any tie to a man named named Talus? That name means nothing to the shepherd. He only frowns. Never mind, the man says, waving it off. Forget he asked. So his own face called that stranger to mind. Then he has one of his own to ask. Go ahead, comes the nod. Does the househead know a woman called VJ? Up comes a sketch of a soft-faced woman in a ribboned collar. The man studies the drawing and says nothing. No such beauty he'd forget, the househead says. Understood, Turan answers. Then he needs a moment, and the eagle leaps off his arm. Glancing back, he notes the price is paid and the deal closed. Only fair, he says, to check the goods are sound. Down the great bird drops, talons locking on his wrist. Wings flung wide, the eagle settles, his now. Then his head tips back, and oh, slipping out. Down a gilded hall he walks, a servant wishing him a fine meal. His host smiles. Glad you're here. How was the flight? Everyone, she says. This is Turan Brahms, in from the Carmine side. Carmine, a burly man, frowns. Isn't that near Arabian? Don't lump our guest in with those sparrows, she cuts back. Dolph Marin, the big man offers, a history bloodline. Pleased to meet you. Their hands clasp, the grip tightening hard. Showing off his strength, the shepherd wonders, mana flickering at his wrist. Sturdy, the man grins, just what you'd want in a guardian. Enough of that, he says. Where's that picky eagle he came to see? Off flying nearby, she says, stir-crazy from a morning of writing. One call of come here, and a great eagle wheels over the rooftops. Wings wide, it sweeps into the balcony rail. A great black hawk settles on the tamer's arm, and she grins. She calls another bird over. It just glares back. You damn bird brain, she snaps. What is it I lack? Then the hawk hops to Turan instead, and she fumes. Over the feast, talk turns to dark elves stirring in the west. The Arabian force rides against them, led by that skinny Mesa. Hope she gets cut down this time, one host laughs. A hideous thing, another sneers. Pity her future husband. At least Arabian has an heir. Their own house can't pick one. Turan asks who this Talus is they keep naming. The househead's younger brother, his companion says. Zahar's second in command. He all but runs the house, she adds. Any ties to him? The name lands hard, and he thinks of his father. Maybe the man was a far bigger deal than he ever knew. Turan leans across the feast and asks what kind of man Talus really is. The head's younger brother, his host says, Zahar's second, all but running the house. So his own father might be a far bigger deal than he ever guessed. Later, out by the palms, he sits with his new eagle. The face that host pictured the instant they met. Zahar's second in command. If that man truly is his father, and he's even a small blemish on him, he could be crushed like a bug the moment he's found out. Down on the ground, the bird has spelled out in seeds that it's a black eagle. It taps out letter after letter while he stares off, only half watching. You copied the praise too, he notes dryly, and spelled it wrong. Anyway, the shepherd asks, has the bird settled on a name? Seeds shift into a fresh reply. Nothing decided yet. Then he teases it about that answer, and the eagle shakes its head no. Arms folded, grinning, he finally asks the bird why it chose him. The great black bird just shifts on its talons, saying nothing. Already it's scratched out its first wobbly words, calling him good. Closer to good, he corrects, and the rest is riddled with mistakes. Strange how it took to him at all. Maybe his mixed blood drew it. Then a voice cuts in. Dolph, off to hunt, asking him along. He's leaving today, the shepherd says, and the big man deflates. Where's the goodbye? Dolph presses. He'd thought they were closer. All that warmth is just a man itching to prove he's stronger. Need a guide, the strong man offers. No thanks, comes the flat reply. A shame then. Change your mind and say so, he calls, walking off. Backing down this fast, Turan notes, only makes him suspicious. Out past the gate, spear guards watch the robed crowd come and go. He stares off down the road, saying nothing. No need to see him out, he tells the escort sent on Cal's order. A desert guidebook and Enril's holy texts, he asks the seller. Book open, eagle on his shoulder, he reads his way out of Komad. Eagle on his shoulder, the shepherd reads a Zahar book the main house itself backs. Then a line on the page snaps his eye wide. Through the relic, every robed body in the street burns with a blue spark of life. He looks ahead, silver hair falling, and settles on a plan. Pack-shouldered, Turan walks out of the city gates into open sand. A dead tree marks the dunes ahead. He decides to take his time. Beside his face, the great bird squawks and he glances over. Right now, he just feels like walking a while. Out under the stars, he crosses the moonlit dunes, an owl calling. The desert cold deepens and still he keeps moving. Then he half turns and calls the watcher out of hiding. A grinning, hulking man steps from the rocks. Dolph, he names him. Bird on his arm, the shepherd asks why he walked instead of flying. Just worried a young fellow alone in the deadly desert, the big man laughs. The wizard only smiles. So, after his mana then? A grinning brute looms in the dark. Out here alone and not even afraid? He scoffs that a fallen noble has no right to look down on him. Worse off than me, really. You, of all people? Strong mana, a weak body, a guardian husk, hand the power over. All that mana, no muscle behind it. So, tempting prey. Turan sends the eagle wheeling up into the stars. Pity, the brute murmurs, his grin gone flat. A bandaged fist drinks in black mana. Truth is, he'd mark this stranger as a meal too. Stealth magic, he sneers. A petty trick that only hides the face. Run and he'll shatter it like child's play. Then the desert lies empty and he stands alone in the sand. Why can't he feel him? No footprints, no smell, no sound? Dread creeps in. Could it really be? The word Zahar barely leaves his mouth before blue light takes him. Up snaps the big man's head. What was that? He scans the dunes for whatever just struck him. A stone of blue light had slammed into his chest. The blow detonates against him in a white flash. Teeth bared, he hauls himself back upright. Then Dolph throws a wall of flame across the sand. Light the whole field, he reasons, and the stealth breaks. Up flares a ball of fire into the dark. Soon a ring of them lights the desert. Flames coil and spread across the dunes. Still nothing. The strong man roars his fury. Another stone cracks into him from nowhere. He hurls everything outward, both hands blazing. A storm of violet light erupts around him. Then the spent giant buckles to one knee. A scarred giant of a man bellows into the dark for him to come out. Off in the mist, a masked figure catches his breath. The hunted man breaks into a desperate sprint. He knows now. That one's a Zahar, and fighting a hunter at night is suicide. Ice tears up from the cracked ground behind him. Still, no Zahar outruns a body-strengthening bloodline, he tells himself. Then his eye snaps wide. Overhead, a robed shape drops from the stars beside a black bird. It's the shepherd, silver hair streaming, the eagle riding his arm. Sturdy, he allows. Any ordinary noble would already be dead. Hands up, the man begs for mercy. The wizard only stares, silent. You already know I can't let you live, he says. Then golden fire roars up from his open hand, and the flames swallow the man whole. The burned giant's body still smokes in the dark. Tougher than he expected, the shepherd notes. Strength master blood. He needs a piercing magic next, something to break any defense. Now a bandaged hand opens over the corpse. Time for the banquet. Green mana tears loose from the dead man and streams to him. The power pours in, soaking through his gear. Then something stops him short. In his palm sits a round relic that hoards magic. Drink it straight? No, a divine Freyan thing, worth real care. By daylight he crosses the dunes, the eagle taking wing. Then it rises from the sand, the tomb of the gods. Some while back, in a desert tavern, he shared a table. A dark-haired woman teases him. Ran off alone, no thieves, no beasts? Got lucky, Turan says. So how does one get inside that tomb? Rich boy, she allows, but the way in is shut. Why not, he asks. A week back, important folk arrived and sealed the place. Even caravans got turned away. Important folk? He echoes, and she just points. Realization lands, and he gives a flat, ah. Down in the pillared hall stand the men of Zahar. Somewhere inside, a scarred man hisses for Purga. Right here, the big one growls. Stop shouting, they'll hear. This whole mess is your fault, the scarred one spits. Don't pin it on me, he fires back. You came chasing a seat under me. Teeth bared, he panics. Robed killers crowding the dark behind him. Years back, his grandfather vowed, find the tomb's hidden secret and the family seat is yours. Every year he hunted for clues, he recalls, and found only a legend. Then a hidden stair opened. The god of Zahar, he crows, is on his side. What waits below is a writhing wall of screaming, pale flesh. Some lousy secret, he mutters. Had he known, he'd never have come in here. Out of water now, he orders the other man to conjure more. Somewhere far off, a strangled cry rings out. The man's eye goes wide. What is this? A tongue he's never heard, yet the meaning lands clear. Ringed by Zahar blades, word spreads. The night hunter walks the sands again. Streets away, Turan threads a desert market, wary of his own face. Better to keep his head down, he decides, then something snags his eye. He points at a stall, and the seller names it. Saltpeter, said to lengthen a life. The name tugs at him. He's heard it somewhere. It was in the arsonist book, he recalls. A formula he once abandoned, missing one piece. The arsonist fire, worth rebuilding. Got any sulfur, he asks. Never heard of it, comes the answer. Volcanic stuff, the wizard muses. No call for it out here in the sand. Should have hunted it in Komad. No matter, he just needs a volcano. Overhead the eagle wheels, offered rare sugar he passes, no taste for sweets. Then the loaded sling sings, whirling overhead. Down the dune he tears, blue light carving the sand behind him. His strike cracks the ground in a burst of light. Not bad, he allows. Sand for projectiles instead of stones. He can reshape them mid-flight, sharpen them, or scatter them wide. It costs more mana, but it spares his handful of crafted stones. Good for binding ankles too, or blinding. Maybe he'll learn to swim through it. Then a pyramid rises from the dunes. Nobles still hole up in the tomb, days on. He weighs it, just move on to another city. No, he decides. An old stone archway swallows the dark within. The shepherd could always slip in unseen, and if he's caught, he just runs. Right then, a muffled cry reaches him. Two robed men haul a gagged captive along. Shut him up, just don't kill him. The bound man writhes against the floor, his cry smothered. In a stone corridor, he stops, watching robed figures lead people off into the mist. Down worn steps, his footfalls echo. Then something ahead snaps his eye wide. Below, in a pillared courtyard, a black vortex churns on the ground. Masked guards flank a bound, ragged prisoner, and he asks what this is. A handler cuts him off. No questions here. You are the kidnappers, he notes, yet you look the most frightened of all. One of them orders a captive to haul the cargo inside. The slaver only stares back, sweating. A prisoner is walked step by step into the swirling dark. Beasts control magic, the shepherd realizes, reading the spell at work. The traders fret over a Lord Purga, food and water sent in for days. That man, he realizes, tipped to lead all of Zahar, sealed inside that thing. So that's why they've held this place so long, he understands at last. A slow, sharp grin spreads as the wizard sees his chance. Risky, he reasons, but a way to get close to Zahar. The reason doesn't matter. He needs in for what's waiting inside. Far from all that, Turan stands alone over the dark. One small figure lost in the churning black. His head clears the second he enters, that strange pull shaken loose. Then a scream rips through and his eyes snap up. Out in the street, a man lies dropped, a crowd gathering. A scarred brute grumbles they keep sending outsiders into him. The noise grates on him. Deal with it, he says, and save the food. At his word, a boot stamps down on the groaning man. So this is the famous Purga Zahar, the shepherd notes. He kills over water without a flicker of guilt, no debt payer. Then, out of the shadows, someone chokes. No, this is wrong. You're not the night hunter, the voice insists, and he only smiles. Long ago, giants ruled the fertile Enril plains. Their vast bodies ate everything until the land went to desert. Thirsting always for water, they enslaved mankind and drank human blood to slake it. Then, one moonless night under a pitch-black sky, a lone figure came. He was the night hunter of the Freyans. Light tore through the giants, and he slew them all, saving mankind. Grateful, the freed people gave him their three loveliest maidens as brides. The three children born of them inherited strange power. One could vanish, one ruled shadows, and the last could conjure poison. Then the night hunter ascended, leaving the world behind. After he was gone, the brothers fought over who would rule the desert. The eldest, who could hide his body, walked away rather than fight his kin. But the master of shadows and the master of poison waged a brutal war. And so the desert fell into turmoil, driving countless people to despair. In the end, the eldest returned, broke both younger brothers, and took the desert. That winged figure was the ancestor of Zahar himself. You are not the night hunter, the voice insists from the dark, and he only smiles. Why is that god's name being spoken here, it presses. Connected to the Zahar nobles who came before, he wonders, and he's a distant descendant too. Then something shifts and his head comes up. His eye snaps wide. There's something here. Down the pillared corridor, a hunched shape waits, a blue core burning in its chest. Up close, it's a grotesque slab of bald muscle. Looks thoroughly unpleasant, the shepherd notes. The thing snarls, jaw stretching wide. Did it spot me, he thinks, as the giant looms in? Then it swings and he barely rides the blow. Ducking low, he slips under the grasping hand. Golden fire roars up from the floor, hurling a pale brute back. Cloaked, the shepherd drops low, hand out, fire lashing the dark. Something spotted him, he marvels. Clean through Zahar's stealth. Their range runs short though, so he keeps his distance. Up floats a jagged chunk of stone over his palm. First strike is his, he decides. Then the loaded sling sings, blue light arcing across the hall. The bolt rips clean through one pale thing. Not one of them even flinches at the death. Across the courtyard, he strolls toward the downed creature. Green mana tears loose and streams toward him. Barely any flows in though, so the thing's a magic creature creature. Hand to his chin, he turns it over. A body that strong should hold far more, the wizard reasons. On top of that, the holy relic in his hand never even stirred. So what is this thing really? How tiresome, he sighs. Then his eye catches something and a slow grin starts. Across the bloodied courtyard, the men of Zahar gather around their fallen giant. Hand up, the strong man calls a halt. Lost in the maze, his crew bicker over whether they've passed this way before. One of them goes tense. There's a rat in here. A rescue party, someone wonders. No, that would have made noise. Galthan, the leader, barks, set traps, we'll catch this rat. At his word, a mage lights the corridor. Leave the rat, just some lucky night. Let him run, Purga grins. He'll make fine bait for the monsters. Up in the dark, one boot at the ledge, the shepherd watches them all. Silver hair, a bandaged hand, arms folded, he gives nothing away. 3 days on, he and Purga's crew share the pitch-black labyrinth. Through the relic's eyes, the barrier bloodline traps light up plainly for him. One of Purga's men blunders into his own snare and burns, screaming. Kneeling, the wizard marks a quiet spot with a blue cross. Down another hall, a swarm of pale flesh comes apart on his blade. When they overrun him, he lets Purga's group take the brunt. Purga wades in swinging, fire and pale limbs all around him. Fine by the shepherd, the things barely carry any mana worth taking. The fight leaves the whole crew sprawled and spent on the stone. Supplies keep arriving as if the knights still live, so the crew stockpiles them. Should have kept the servants alive, Purga gripes, and a man flatly calls his bluff. Behind a pillar, the silver-haired wizard smiles. How utterly despicable. Across the dark, the strong man Purga holds his ground. Turan grins as the Zahar men panic. Perfect cover. While they make their noise, he slips off for the deeper halls. Down there, a vast sealed door waits in the dark. He stops short. A door built for giants, he reckons. Maybe a way out. Then the dark shifts. Light stirs across its cracked face. An eye opens wide and a voice names him, Pursuer. Conditions not met, it judges. Right then, his Freyan relic flares green. The verdict flips, conditions met. Something ancient wakes and the wizard stares up at it.